This is not merely a building. It's a sanctuary of remembrance, a threshold where the veil parts, and minds once lulled to sleep begin to rise. This is the house of reawakening minds.
I entered in silence, intellect and despair, seeking refuge from illusions thick in the air. Walls lined with scrolls, lectures dense with light, where knowledge resurrects what was hidden from sight. No pulpit performance, no charismatic show, just a word in its purity, allowing the soul to grow. History unpacked with surgical precision, exposing falsehood, restoring vision. They taught me jurisdiction, the power of a name, how to stand in one's truth, free from legal games, from colonial codes to Moorish descent. I learned that ignorance is the true imprisonment. Not just a church, this is consciousness refined. I found myself inside the house of.
This is sacred ground, not just wood and stone. A haven for the seekers who once felt alone. Here the veil is lifted, the contract unwinds. In the house of reawakening minds. Truth is the altar, wisdom is the flame. Every soul remembered, every bloodline reclaimed. Time collapses and the spirit aligns. Inside the house of reawakening
We
minds.
speak of capitives, diminution, and trust law with grace. Pulling veils from the statues that distort the race. Reverend Doctor don't preach, she teaches through metaphysical keys and universal speeches. From Egypt to Amexim, maps are redrawn, and the minds of the lost are profoundly reborn. They decode etymology, undo the brands, expose how black was a corporate sleight of hand. This is reclamation through language and tone, when status is corrected and sovereigns are grown. From natural law to the astrological signs, the cosmos converge in these sacred confines. This ain't dogma, it's the science of the divine. Every lecture a seed in the garden of the mind.
You said know thyself but gave no guide, until I found the house where illusions died. Here the soul remembers, the contract is clear. We are the heirs and the ancestors cheer. This is sacred ground, not just wood and stone. A haven for the seekers who once felt alone. Here the veil is lifted, the contract unwinds. In the house of reawakening minds. Truth is the altar, wisdom is the flame. Every soul remembered, every bloodline reclaimed. Time collapses and the spirit aligns. Inside the house of reawakening.
They don't ask you to believe, only to remember. You are not lost, you've simply been rendered. Redacted by systems, misclassified by law. But the house restores what the paper man saw. It's not just theology, it's the restitching of fate. The alignment of cosmos with your birthright state. Genealogy meets metaphysics, past meets now. The veil is a lie and this house shows how. They speak a treaty, jurisdiction and name. That being black was never a rightful claim. They restore divine memory through patience and fire. Raising minds from bondage in the conscious empire. No choir needed when the frequency's high. It's the house where illusions die.
House of reawakening minds, where scholars become sages and the forgotten reclaim the eternal.
That's me, doing what I can to be the best I can be. Always striving to reach the top. In spite of their restrictions, I'm someone they can't stop. I'm growing, learning, inspiring, teaching, creating, and healing. It's action more than a feeling. That's why I'm always always glitching. Oh yes, I've got what it takes to be the best of the best. Not competing with anybody but me. Just here to make a difference and set your captive mind free. The matrix is not just a womb. They've gone and made it a tomb. Their system buries your dreams beneath lies and manipulative schemes. Reality's not what it seems. That's why I'm always glitching. That's me, doing what I can to be the best I can be. Always striving to be the cream of the crop. I'm thriving in their matrix, 'cause I'm the one they can't stop. It's my time, it's my time. It's my time. It's my time, it's my time. It's my time. It's my time, it's my time. It's my time.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight for what I believe will be a very meaningful and powerful conversation. I'm very excited. What you're hearing in the background is the new theme song I wrote for the new podcast, Dr. She Always Glitching. Tonight's broadcast is a little special for me because we're not only gathering for dialogue and reflection, but we are also marking my 31st. My gosh, I'm going backwards. My 71st solar return. I'm going to stop with the music. And I truly could not think of a better way to spend this moment than in conversation with a circle of powerful SiStars, women who bring wisdom, experience, insight, and perspective to the times we're living in. So while, I'm giving these accolades and introductions before I bring everybody on screen, I want you to be pushing that like and definitely to share, because everybody's going to need and want to hear what's going to be said tonight. Tonight, we'll be conversating about birthrights, status, geopolitics, global finance, health awareness, spiritual insight, and what it means to walk consciously in these changing times. And like I know, they're changing by the minute. But before we begin welcoming the sisters who are joining me tonight, I want to say something that's very important to me. There are many, and I mean many, powerful sisters that I have the honor of interacting with and learning from, women who are doing extraordinary work in their own right. Some of you are probably listening. And the reason I've invited 4 sisters to join me tonight is simply so that we can keep the conversation manageable and, allow everyone the space to share their insight in a meaningful way. But please understand that this panel is not meant to exclude anyone. And I'm sorry for the sirens in the background, can't help that. This is simply a sampling, a beginning really of a much larger conversation that needs to be had. The war, the women are ready, because as we move deeper into what many describe as the Aquarian age, it's becoming clear that the divine feminine is and has risen again. And when the divine feminine rises, she doesn't rise alone. There will come a time when many more of us will sit together, whether that's in a boardroom, a gathering hall, or even a stadium. It may take that much, because the wisdom, balance, and leadership of women will be essential for the times we're moving into. So to all the sisters who are listening tonight and who are listening to the replay, please know this. If you're not on this panel, it's not because you're unseen or unappreciated. I respect each and every one of you, and I look forward to the time when many more of us will sit together and continue these conversations, because as I said, the divine feminine is rising, and we must help lead the way. And perhaps, years from now, when people look back at moments like this, they'll recognize that these kinds of conversations, small circles of awakened women coming together to speak truth, were part of the early stirrings of a much larger shift taking place in the world. And with that said, want to begin by welcoming the sisters who are joining me this evening. I'm going to read a little bit about each one of their background, and I'm just going to bring them all on at once, if you don't mind. So first, let me begin with my sister, my CEO or chairman of the board for the House of Reawakening Minds. And that is none other than Cynthia Martin L. You all know her. Cynthia Martin L. is a seasoned executive with more than 30 years of leadership experience in the hotel and restaurant industries, training and development, corporate governance, strategic planning, and business development. She's also, some of you know and may not know, she's an author and publisher. She's skilled in firearms. She can shoot the wing off of a fly, and she's skilled in archery. She's an herbalist, a candle maker, and she's also the co-owner of Cleopatra's Secret in Houston, Texas. In addition, as I said, Cynthia serves as chairman of the board of House of Reawakening Minds, where she provides visionary leadership, helping ensure the long-term success and sustainability of this organization. So please help me welcome Cynthia. We'll bring her on with our other sisters. Next is Mother Kahai. Now, you all know Mother Kahai. She brings a unique and expansive perspective to the conversation. Mother Kahai describes herself as a cosmosan and a electromathematician. That's someone who studies the relationships between the cosmos, the body, and the mathematical patterns that shape life, and she knows her stuff. Her work includes numerology, astrology, herbal remedies, and youth and life coaching, helping individuals better understand themselves and the cycle that influence that she understands. Once they understand it, what that brings into their lives. Next, this is a new voice, or you may have not heard before, and that is Dr. Topzyana B. Thomas. She's a gifted metaphysician, teacher, and author whose work bridges spiritual understanding with physical wellness. She's the author of 3 books on the lymphatic system, helping many people understand the importance of the body's natural healing process. She's also known to many as the widow of former Dallas Cowboy great Dwayne B. Thomas. Dr. Thomas is also on a mission to inform Indigenous Americans about the opportunity to participate in the global prepaid 528 prosperity system, which she believes can provide pathways toward greater financial awareness and empowerment. And last but certainly not least, joining our sister circle tonight is a woman widely respected for her insight into geopolitics, global finance, and the world events shaping the times we're living in. Her ability to analyze global developments and connect them to the bigger picture has helped many people and continues to help many people better understand what is happening on the world stage. And that is none other than Dr. Kia Pruitt. So help me, if you will, to welcome all of these wonderful, fabulous sisters. Thank you all for coming out tonight to be a part of my celebration. I know I asked them, I had to get them to mute themselves because we were having a feedback, but unmute yourselves if you will. We'll see how this goes.
Hey.
Hey, family.
Hey.
So this is amazing, and this is also, let me make sure everybody's here. Am I missing somebody? I'm seeing.
Yeah, Mother Kahai.
We lost Mother Kahai. Where's she? Okay. All right. Okay. She will find her way back. I'm pretty sure. But okay. All right. Well, thank you for. Well, I'm asking you to mute yourself so I can talk about this little part I want to share, and then we'll have you unmute as we talk. Is that okay, y'all? All right. So before we move into our conversation tonight, I want to pause for a moment and acknowledge something personal. As I said, today marks my 71st solar return, and I'm deeply grateful to reach this point in my journey. I thought about it. My grandmother only lived to be 33 years of age, and my mother was not here beyond the age of 65. So, when I look at this moment, being here at 71, revolutions around the sun, I recognize that it is as a blessing, a blissing, if you will, of time that, the women that came before me, they weren't given that. Their time was so much shorter. So it reminds you that every year that we're granted carries purpose. We're here because, let me bring her back on here, add her to the stage. I think I got her. Did I get her? Here we go. We got her back. Yeah. So every year, it gives us another opportunity, to grow and to experience more, to help more, to bring about changes. As I said, as a glitch, to grow, to learn, to inspire, to teach, to create and heal. And I hope that y'all like my theme song, Glitch. I'm always glitching, always growing, learning, inspiring, teaching, creating,
Yes.
healing tonight. Well, so excuse me, I need some water. But I am so grateful for this opportunity to not have to spend this moment alone, but in the company of you powerful, powerful women and wonderful awakened minds. So, ready to talk? Let me wet my whistle. Okie dokie. Oh, that's a. Let me. Somebody's open. I'm gonna. All right, here we go. So if somebody's not muted, please make sure everybody's muted. If you look at your things. Okay, here we go. I guess. And y'all, I'm sorry about the feedback. But here's my opening question. I'm throwing this out there. We're living in a time when people are questioning many of the systems that we once took for granted. Government. We used to we used to believe in the government. We believed in the government. We believed that finances, whatever we had in the bank or in our pocket was what it was, and it was secure and all that. We believed in health, identity, and spirituality. We believed that stuff. But from each of your perspectives, what do people most need to understand right now, in order to navigate these times consciously? Because the things that we have come to believe, we've found, we've realized that they're, as they say, young people say, cap. I think that's what it means. Is that what it is? They call it cap. It's not what we think it is. So I don't know which one wants to go first. You let me see your hand, and we'll just know who to unmute. All right, so we're gonna start with our sister, and I'm gonna say this. When we mute her back, so I don't hear this echo. But Cynthia has come to us with injured. I didn't expect her. I wasn't sure that she was going to be able to do this because she was injured. Doing a dog sitting, a large dog, and now it's going to have to get, I guess, some pins in her shoulder from this. But thank you, in pain, for being here. And for being a part of my life. I'm going to say that right off the bat, and I'm going to yield the floor to you.
Okay. First of all, can you hear me, everybody? You can hear me? Okay, great. First of all, sis, I just wanted to, say happy solar return. I was a couple of days early because after the injury, I didn't know if I was going to be able to be here, as you said. But in regards to the question that you're speaking about finances and stuff like that, we don't have money. People keep calling it money. And I think that as a collective, if we don't come to some type of agreement on what the reality is, we're going to still live in the sauce, so to speak. So I think glitching and starting the shows will, eventually grow into something that we can all, enjoy and all, come together with. I'm also thinking about in regards to finances, we have to really understand and research where this so-called money came from. And a lot of people don't understand that part of it. And until we understand and do something collectively about it, it's always going to be about it. In other words, we always come on and we talk and we do things. We have events and we hope that people are taking the information that they're hearing and doing something with it. But until we can really coalesce with the total picture and the foundation of what we're going to do, first of all, and what is coming, second of all, because it's coming. All the bonds are coming in. They're dead. People are talking about money, banking systems. They're tightening up. Today, I sent a Zelle to a particular person. And what did I get? Normally, it just goes through. What did it say today? I took a screenshot of it. Your account is being reviewed. And then when we decide that it's okay to send this, we will send it. I was like, what did you say? But this is what's happening. And if we allow that to happen, we are slaves. We are already slaves, but we are going to be slaves. They are listening, looking, and hearing everything we talk about. So I'm hoping in the future that glitching, we can all come into a more private arena in order to grow our teams and stuff like that, and move on with the whip. I don't even want to say it, but you know what I'm saying. I want to move on with what we need to do. And there's so much we can say about that. And I'm not going to sit up here and run my mouth like I usually do, because I am in pain. And forgive all this, because this is part of it. I'm moving this weekend and I'm at a total standstill because I can't do anything. But I wanted to be on here, not only for what we're going to talk about this evening, but to honor this woman right here. Because she's always doing things for others. She's always coming up with what we need to do as a collective and getting us all together. So until we come together, until we all, decide on how we're going to move forward, I think that this is the time to do it. The foundation is everything. So I just wanted to say, hey, I'm glad to see all your faces. Dr. Pruitt, I listen to you a lot. And, Mother Kahai, we talk just about every day. We talk today too. So, all you guys, I just meeting a couple of you on the screen here. I haven't really talked to maybe personally, but let's reach out and get it together, because until we do, then nothing else is going to happen. And that's just my opinion. So I yield the floor for right now, but we'll be talking soon.
Thank you. I'm not sure who would like to respond to that opening question, and let me know if you need me to repeat it or you're good.
Well, this is Dr. T. I wanted to follow behind our sister, because that's the reason why the Global Family Bank was created. This time has been known for a long time that it was going to happen. And so the bank that we're talking about is an American bank. This kind of bank never existed before. It's for people who are on the land in every country in the world. So it's made for all 8 billion of us, or however many there are of us. And the reason why we even have to deal with not told the truth about most things that we grew up thinking about. It's relative to the government, how it works, who did what, how we got here, and all of that. That is now being brought forward, and it's not necessarily going to be easy for everybody to understand, because we all grew up under a system that is a British system. We didn't grow up under a system that was an American system, even though they were using the name America and all of that. The thing is, the Global Family Bank was set up so that the birth certificate fraud Well, let me explain this.
Well, let me say this to you,
The,
Dr. T, before you go deeper. I have a whole section later on where I want you to go deeper into that, so you can be a little bit
Oh, okay.
more.
All right. I won't go into that now. We'll go into it later. But the thing is, there are solutions and they're real solutions. And nobody has to go through this transition starving or not having their needs met and all that. So I want to say that has been addressed. And that's the main reason I'm here, because I want to make sure that everybody knows that, yeah, well, that has been addressed and you can check it out. So go ahead. Oh,
Okay, Mother Kai or Dr. Kia, either one. All right,
I can,
Dr. Kia.
yes. First of all, thank you all. Thank you so much for inviting me, Dr. G. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're lovely. You do great work and you have done great work for the community. Happy solar return. And thank you, ladies, this esteemed panel, for being here and allowing me to share this time with you. What most people need to know that's happening today is that everything is being returned back to the people. I don't know how deeply we can get into that, but everything's being returned: the government, the land, the wealth, the finances, the name, even the American name, like our sister said before. All the people that were coming here were calling themselves American, but they're not. But they can join in with us, but everything is being returned. And I won't get into too much detail, but a lot of people don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. And what's actually happening is a military operation that's taking down the government that enslaved humanity. So you saw the overturning of the Chevron Doctrine, where the Supreme Court of the United States said that the government had too much power and that they were not sovereign, they were treasonous. This is why you having government shutdowns and why all 444 government agencies are being downsized, because we were never supposed to be controlled by bloodline families that came to our planet to enslave people and take our energy, our wealth, our resources. So everything is being returned back to the people. We need to stay encouraged, keep our emotions in check, stay grounded. Like I said, the government is being downsized. It's already defunct. It's already bankrupt. It's already happening. That the new reality behind the scenes is here. Like our sister said, there's already a new bank. And speaking of the banking system and money, not only did the Supreme Court overturn the Chevron Doctrine, which gave the government unlimited powers in 2024, but the Supreme Court of the United States also said that state-sponsored banks can operate independently from the Federal Reserve central banking system, have their own charter, and issue out their own gold-backed currencies. Why? Because according to our Constitution and Republic and our government, which was here before all the Europeans and everybody came here, the only thing that we were using, I would say some of the things we were using for money, was gold and silver. So this is why state-sponsored banks now are actually accumulating gold. They have gold aurum notes in their coffers. They have foreign currency, silver and gold, because Dr. G was, she teaches about silver and gold, because she knows that's lawful money according to the Republic. As one of our sisters said before, they weren't using money, they were using fiat. So my encouragement is stay grounded, keep your emotions in check, and know that everything is working for your good. Doesn't matter who you see before you. That person is operating under the military control, under our ancestors that have returned, under the supreme being, the creator source, who is giving them directions. So the monetary system is being returned to us. That's why banks are collapsing. The government is being returned to us. That's why the United States Incorporated is collapsing. Everything, family. So stay encouraged. And we'll talk more about that as our host directs us to. So I'll yield.
Okay. Wholeness. Wholeness.
Come on, mother, waiting for you. You're the
Oh,
last
okay.
one.
But I didn't know. I didn't hear nobody say nothing
I
back.
think I
I
was
said, go
muted.
ahead.
You couldn't hear me,
Huh?
but I was saying, come on with it, and I was muted. I'm sorry. I had to unmute myself.
Yes. Yes.
Your
Oh,
perspective,
shoot.
please.
Look at this. Oh, all right. Am I back again?
Yes, you are.
Okay, wholeness again. We're gonna start that again. What I want to say, what everybody um needs to know, and what everybody wants to know. And being mother, we always used to have a lot of sayings and said that, you get old enough, right? That, your wants can't hurt you, right? Because a lot of people want things. And right now, people want things, and we need each other. You see, that's what we need to know, because I appreciate all of you right now here, you see. And when I'm appreciating you, that means you are the money, in parentheses. We, as the women, the womb man, are what everybody needs to know. That we, the indigenous, as they want to use the word indigenous, I just like to say primordial force of nature. We are here representing natural resources. There is no money, and that's what Sister, was talking about today when she opened up. We had just started this conversation. Go, Cynthia, go. You see, we had some keywords that we were going to say, you know, and some code words too. And the thing that I want to say right now, what everybody needs to know, is that the world is not going to get better. Nothing is going to be given to us because we already have it. We are here. They are looking at the money now, in parentheses, so called the money. We are the natural resources. That's all that everybody needs. They need us to continue to do what we're doing right now, is speaking out, because we are a frequency and a vibration. And when we open our mouth, it goes into the utmost of fear to break it up, because that's what people need now, is to get rid of the fear of not having what they're so called, looking for money, when that is a carrot on a stick. Jump high, jump low, do this, do that, change the status, do this, do that. It's an illusion. We have to know that we're it, and those who are not satisfied will never have anything, because we are mother's natural resource. We are everything, not one thing or 10 things. We are everything. So there's in just my open eye on the subject, which is opinion, which I'm entitled to, and this is mine, that we're not getting nothing until we get the lesson that mother is putting out. And that is what a birth date is. You are her expression, and you purposely came out on this day to express her. You are her. You are everything. I am everything. Dr. Kia is everything. Cynthia is everything. Miss T is everything. And if who is on this viewing don't like it, they're not going to get anything other than what they're getting right now, which is richness right there in front. 5 of us. And that is what we're dealing with, 5G, supposedly fifth dimension. And when the fifth dimension sung the song in 1969, when the moon is in the 7th house, and 1969 is a 7-year. They knew what they were speaking, because they were songs and secrets in that vibration that mother put them here in that time to remind us now. When the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, and peace. You see? So when that happens, was no mention of so-called money, because money is really just the sun, the energy. When you see the word money, people talk about, used to say, you see I in it, they would put an E after the Y and say moon eye. No, 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 no. It's the E at end of any word implies energy. So when you say money, it's really MONE, money. They put a Y there because it's all witchcraft here. So now when you say the word glitch, you're talking about 32.5. And that is magic. And it's so beautiful, Dr. G, that you use always glitching, because always glitching is always switching. And always switching is what we doing because we's witches. And we have to do what they do to us, because they're changing the system because they want digital slavery now. Because the money is the witchcraft on this planet. Straight up. As long as we deal with it, they're going to have just their spells on it. They're going to change it like they do every era, which is an ERA. That's what they want us to believe. But it's not an ERA, it's an ERROR. It's an error that the women keep making because we are the natural resources. So we need to know who we are. That's what we need to know. We're not asking for nothing because we have everything. And no, I am everything. And when this world stops looking for money and start seeing that the primordial woman bestows everything, that's when we're going to see transformation, because it's all about mother's love. That's what we need, a mother's love. And that is what I'm here to represent. Only that.
Well spoken, but the interesting thing is that I didn't know what order we were going to go in with that answer, that question, but the first question I have is for you. So keep that energy up with you. What I wanted to ask was, well, with your work explores the cosmic cycles, numerology. I'm always talking to you. We're having conversations, and you're like giving me what numbers happening, what numerological aspect I'm in, and what is happening, because you study that numerology, the rhythms that shape life. So from your perspective, what do the cycles of the cosmos tell us about the period of that we talk about now, that humanity is moving through right now? Are we witnessing chaos or realignment?
Let me put it to you this way, and to the viewers. It's so simple. Everything is easy as 1, 2, 3. And because of the spells that were placed on the money, you see, it's a money spell, it's a love spell. So you can't see it because you have fake jobs too. Because remember, in order for people to get the money, they had to have the job. So they had to create the job so that you could think that you're getting money.
Mhm.
So the confusion is that those oppositional forces, because these entities, okay, they put out fake narrative. They put out fake narratives. So then you say, oh, the matriarch is on the rise. Well, when? It should be only now and right now, because we're living in a duality. We can't think about the past. And so what we're in right now is whatever we're in now and right now, like as in right now, today, because too many keep looking at the history. So what we look at is today's date to see what we're in right now. We can look
Mhm.
at the year and see overall, by this being a 2026. And you're having the 2, the 4, the 6, the 8, but there's no one representing it. So who's initiating what? That's missing. The 5 is missing. So that means that we should be doing some of that, in which we're doing right now. We're communicating to one another. And it just so happens to be 5 of us here. So that's magic. Magic in these communications that the 5 of us. And then always glitching equals 32.5, which equals America. And America equals 32.5. And that's why we have the 14th Pope, the 14th President, and the 14th, who else? Obama's contract was a 14. And Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, he's 14. And when you take the 314, Ibrahim Traore, and then you take the 614, Mr. T, the card, because I don't always like to really mention everybody's name because it gives them more power, you see.
Yeah.
And then you mention, okay, the next one birthed on 914. It's very interesting to watch the 369 play off all in alignment, but act like they're in opposition. And they're not, because they're looking at making a one world order, because that's in alignment, the 369. So what are we in? We're in a time where the woman must communicate and speak her power, because there's no 3 here either. So where is the Trinity? She's not present in this 2026. So what are we in? We're in a 2, a 4, an 8, and 0, if people want to use that. We're in a time right now where is a lot of witchcraft going on, because you're looking at the year of the 26th. And we're also in the first quarter of time and a half, because it all started in the 2000 when the new energy came in, and 25 is 1 quarter. So now we're at the first inning of the second half. And when you want to knock out the opposition, I mean, personally, I like to do like Cynthia said, just shoot the ass. It's done. I'm not going to say like in the movies, stop, stop. You know, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot. No, no, no. You'll get no warning. When you're playing ball in a game, you don't really want to go into halftime. You want to win in the right amount of time you have. If you can, if you're playing, you know, let's say boxing, you'd rather just go in the ring and knock a mother sucker out. So I don't know what we're waiting on. So we keep hearing the matriarch is on the rise, the matriarch. I'm like, what? I'm sitting back, you know, I'm an observer. So I like to sit back and go just laugh, because it's all a story. We're in a play. And we are sexual beings having a anatomical experience. I don't know about this, what they call spiritual being having a physical experience, because everything is spiritual. So I don't know about the physical experience, because an atom is not solid. I know about a sexual being because we're here to reproduce. But the man is producing, so that's where the money comes in. The woman is the reproducer, because we are the creator, because the source is recreating, and we are the recreation and the microcosm of the macrocosm, the macrocosm, the creative force. So the tricks here that we're in the 26th, this what we're in right now, we're in Hika. That's what we're in. We're in Hika. We're in the magic. You see? And this is the issue. You can't see it because of the 5. The 5, right, is the spirit, is the air, is the Mercury. It's the magic word, the 5. This is why you have these people who are just so magically placed, being born, each one of them on the 14th, and Obama having a 14 contract, being that he came in 2009, which is in 11, and then they all get inaugurated on the 120, because that is Set, because they worship Set. That's who they worship. So it's always a setup here. And it's a mindset. And we should not have a mindset. It should be moving. And it's all about unity and mother's love. That's all this is about. This is a love story. But what they did was they put it in the money. And the money is really, when you see MONE, you see ONE. But they put the Y there, but you don't hear it. See, that's more magic, because mother only deals with sound. She doesn't deal with the spelling. So what we're in right now, to be nice about it, we're in manure. Because what we're doing, we're the water is around, the waters of noon are around our neck. But we should have stopped it when we had the water around our ankles, because then we were not afraid. We could just step out. But the longer we allow the opposition to go, then we're going to drown.
Yeah.
Because now you're scared, you can't swim. So when the water is around your ankles, you could just step out the puddle and no problem. When it gets around your knees, you get a little, like, okay, still sometimes procrastinating, it's just around my knees. But in 2026, remember, they have a 2030 agenda. And we're only 4 years from that. And they do everything on the 4. That's why you have the 4 on the card, the man, the MAGA, which is the trick. Again, make America great again. But it is also make Africa great again, because they're all in 369. The 3 of the Ibrahim, and the 6, which is the, the card, the red card, the clown. And then you also have the father, which is 914. See? And there's some other 14s too, but I'm just letting you see those 4, because the bridge number to 14.5 is 4, and that's what we're in right now, 2026, and they use the 4 to get over to the 5, because that's the whole thing about the 14 pieces that Asar was cut up into, because we're living in their world. Okay, and they have taken over ours. They did the switch. That's why we're always glitching, So this is what is a situation that we're in. We have to know the magic and the magic words. And the magic word is 4, just like what they say. When they're saying 4 things, they always say, leave the world behind, or Obama, 4. Or they would say,
Right.
the 5, the big what was it? The big beautiful, no, yeah, right. The 4, the big beautiful bill, or the one big beautiful bill, 5. So you can see where they're using the 4 and the 5, which is the 14.5, because that was the pieces that separate everybody. And mother is about unity. You see, union.
Wow.
And union is really UNI on. And what is on? On is the sun. On is the light. So when you start talking about the age of Aquarius, that's what they're talking about. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. See? So
it seems like they're doing everything to not have the sunshine. So
exactly, but that's why the song came, because the song represents what mother is saying, because the singers are ringers. Those are the prophets, to be able to get us to be able to do what we need to do.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's in our ear. That's
And they've taken away, they've taken, I don't mean to cut you wisdom, but they've taken those kinds of messages out of the music, and I was thinking about the 528 and then Hertz and all that stuff, but they've taken those kinds of messages out of the music that now we can look back on and say, yes, we were prophesied to about the era or the time in which we find ourselves now, knowing that all time, is linear. It's not, it's happening all at the same time, so to speak, but we didn't see it for that at the time, but we now do see those messages of, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, or the earth, wind, and fire messages and so forth. And they've taken that out of music and given us, confusion and sex in a way. I mean, I didn't even know a lot of the songs were sexual back then until later on, but I'm saying those messages, those strong messages like you're talking about, that definitely were prophetic and are pointed to where we find ourselves now, and that's so important to go back and look at those things and look at those messages and see that those things actually have come to pass rather.
Right. And I also want to show you how much they're using the 5 again, because that's why we're talking about 5G. And even though G represents 7, here we're looking at, ghost, straight up. Because with 5 is very it's very spiritual. Communication. You're communicating with the air, the spirits. And so what's happening to us is that they put out these narratives, they communicate that. This is why we're talking about the fact that we're in a spirit world now, not a physical world. What it is that they're dealing with ghost, and you have those who they honor, like I said, the set energy, right? And those are low level, okay? Now we're hosting the body, but at the same time, they've been playing this game for quite some time. Many just forever. Ancient, they're ancient, and so are we. So we have to have memory. Remember. See, when you remember, that's the 15th piece. That's what's missing, is the remembrance. Remembering who we are, and there's no really you or me, you see? But we're playing that. So we have to remember. Their thing is to help you to forget, to keep you distracted. So I don't see a problem here, because remember, the problem and the solution are the same, just like hot and cold at different degrees, right? So we don't really have a problem. We're just not executing the solution. We're procrastinating. It's done already. You see? So now the 5G and what we're doing is we're giving them time because we're in time. You see? And then they speed up time to give us less time to get things done. So that's the game. And that's when you talk about halftime at the game. The clock is ticking. See? And we're oppositional forces to them, to those entities. So until we do something right now, then they have an opportune time to do what it is that they want to do, which is get more time. Because when you're dying, which they are, you always want more time. A sick person on their deathbed is not concerned about the money that they didn't, get, or they just want more time. So we're talking about these oppositional forces. They just want more time. And remember, the government is not really the MENT, because that's part of the tricks, the spelling. Remember the spells. The government is really the govern, MINT. They're minting money. The government. See? So that's the spell that they have everyone under, who is afraid to break it. I can't leave my job. And what would I eat? What they don't rely on mother's love. And so this game keeps going into overtime again and again and again. And then she sends me back to say these things, to bring people together in love, because that's what it's going to take. That's what we need. We need to appreciate one another. All we need is one another, because now there's wholeness. There's a mother where our living cells having an experience of being individuals. Yeah. So once we remember her, game over. That's it. It's over for them, because sound and frequency will kill them. And when we open up our mouth, that is sound and frequency coming out. So when we're speaking on a high frequency vibration, as you know, we all do, that kills them. They can't stand that sound. So when you're playing a song, right? And we're singing a song and we're not depressed because we know we are mother. Hey, hey, so what you gonna do to me? Nothing. You can't. Because I'm mother. I am mother. Other. And what? What can you do? Nothing.
That's right.
So
Right.
so then you came out on the birth date. Dr. Kia came out, Cynthia came out, Mother T came out, you know, and it was on her purpose. See? So we're the threat. We're the ones, like in the Matrix, when it said the one, see?
Yeah.
But that the one ain't the one. The one is on energy. Love is LOV, energy. The E is always
Energy.
silent, because energy, you see what I'm saying? You don't hear it. It just moves. And that's what we are. We're on energy, or the one. See, that you got to know that the spelling is the spell. It's the lie. It's the trick.
We're gonna
It's the
have to do a
abracadabra.
whole Yeah, well, we're gonna have
Yes.
to do a whole segment on, where you can break down all of those cosmosin type things. But I want to, if you don't mind, I want to move on though and get back to. I will be get back to you because that's very interesting. Because you and I have long, lengthy conversations about stuff like this, and so folks are
I would
getting.
just add one thing. I would just
Oh,
add one thing right now about that. The two things that we need is to appreciate one another, because we are all there is. We are the natural resource, the primordial force. And then we can just dance and, just have a party. You know what I'm saying? Because really, that's the music. Well, not the music. I take to say, because music is a bad word too. It's amusing people and distraction too. So we have to, have high vibrational sounds.
right.
And that's what's going to kill them. They can't stand no Afro beats now. Hey, look here. Don't start no Afro beats and no good old reggae time. That's gonna knock them right out. And if we got to play it all around the globe, everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, you understand? See,
Mhm.
everybody who watching, that's what you have to do to kill them. In your house, on the street, everywhere you go, just start playing them sounds and dancing and act like they don't even exist. That's it.
Yeah, that
And
energy. Yeah,
appreciate one another.
that's
Know,
right.
know each other's gifts, because that is your gift is the actual tool and the currency. That's your flow. That's your flow. You in mother's flow. See,
Yes,
that's why
yes.
you're the money girl. That's why you're the money girl.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But listen,
All right.
thank you, Mother Kai. And Cynthia, from your experience in leadership and governance, many people are beginning, as we said earlier, I said, to question the systems that they operate in. And what do people need to understand about how systems are built and how they can begin operating more consciously within them? I mean, I'm pretty sure we're always going to have them at some level. So, from your experience.
Okay, from my experience being a leader my entire career and observing everyone, I think that in order for people to build their foundation on leadership, is that, like Mother Kai was saying earlier, we talked about this in length a while back, is that until we really, as a collective or just a small group of us, get together with what I want to say, conscious leadership skills and abilities, then I think that we would be stagnant as we are right now. Another thing I want to say in regards to what Mother Kai had just said in regards to frequency is that I don't know if any of you all know about the Tartaria civilization that was destroyed. I don't know if you know that all the bells that they had were melted down because of the frequencies, the healing frequencies, all of the buildings that currently exists right now that no one here built. Okay, let's get that clear first and all. They were resonant buildings. They had steeples on the top that would resonate internet like we currently have it now with the fake electricity and all this other kind of stuff. We have to get back to that. But every time we try and get back to that as a collective, we're destroyed, or they come in and they take us out, so to speak. So we need to get around that. We need to come quietly, though, and figure all of this stuff out, because that's why we're here. I know I've been here ever since I was born. I don't believe, I don't believe in death as most people consider death. I believe that we transition. I believe that when you come back here, if you circled back and reincarnated, that you're here for a purpose. And I think I've shared that with you, Dr. G, that, some of us, at least 1% of us, have a crescent moon in our hand or an M. Take a look at your palms, the one of you that are here on this, and see if you have a crescent moon. I have both, crescent moon and the M. I think my SiStar has 2 M's. Is that correct? Dr. G, you have 2 M's?
2 M's and
yeah, you see? Okay, y'all look it up, okay? Because I do a lot of undercover research. I don't talk a lot about things like this in public, but I want you all, since this is the core of what's going to move us forward, to understand the frequency and vibration, because that's what 369 is all about. Tesla and other people on this planet try to bring it to fruition, but when you're out here talking about these things, they know who we are. They hear everything we have say on phones, on this podcast, and then they will attack us one by one. So in moving in the future, I think that we some things we just need to be offline. Okay, and we need to turn off our phones. Okay, I tried to delete what's that called, Gemini on my phone. You can see it, go on my settings. It says uninstall, but every time I pick up my phone, it starts listening to what I'm saying. So it's not uninstalled. You can't uninstall anything. We no longer have batteries for our phone. Did anybody ever think about that? Remember a long time ago, we could change our batteries and stuff.
SIM cards and stuff. Yeah. SIM cards,
yeah. And in regards to the money situation, I know we're going to talk about that later. I just want to, talk about it just for a second, is that there is none. So why are we so afraid to let that go? When are we going to let that go? And I know, Dr. T, you're going to talk about something like that. But what I want to know when you do talk about it is who's in charge of that American bank, and what type of currency are we going to be using? Because right now we're using someone else's. We're using the Rothschilds or whoever created that crap. We're using that. So in regards to the American bank and all that, I can sort of, I want to believe that, but I also want to know who is in charge of that. Okay. So, these are just some of the things that we need to answer, maybe offline, or you can answer some if you can. But I think that moving forward, we just need to really get down to some basics. How are we going to handle ourselves when the crap hits the fan, so to speak? What about our food? Let's talk about that. Most women today don't even cook. They can't cook. None of them can. How many of you can? Raise your hand. Yeah, okay. Okay, see there? No, they don't know how to do that. And it takes 1 month to do a year's worth of food, even water. Because again, when the crap hits the fan, y'all, what you gonna drink? 90% of us don't have the food or the water in their homes, okay? Half of my garage is full of you know what, okay? But again, who else has it? Nobody. And that's gonna be our downfall. So until we get our foundations and our instructions to the people for survival, and we come together as a group, because we're all spread out. I'm in Houston, Wilmington, New Jersey. Dr. Pruitt, where are you at? In Arizona?
I'm in Florida.
See what I'm saying? So we got to come and figure it out. We have to build an organization of women that are willing to stand up. For me, don't bring it to my door. Just don't. Because I'm not afraid to die. I'm not. So I've cleared that way back in the day. and I'm prepared. So I'm just thinking that more of us who really believe in what we're talking about here tonight just need to stand up a little higher. That's all. So that's just my belief, my opinion. My sister we always say that. We say it is our opinion. So again, for those of you who are out there listening, especially the women, come on, war, let's do it. Sign up. Let's get going. Let's get some foundation going so we can have clear, conscious conversations about how we're going to move forward, how we're going to communicate. Do y'all know that where we're talking on right now, they can just click us off? How are we going to communicate? We used to communicate up here without speaking down here. See, that's gone. It's not gone. We just haven't utilized it. Have any of you ever thought about calling someone and then 5 minutes later they called you? And you go, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. What was that all about? It was about frequency and vibration. So I think we need to go there. I mean, back to that. I still have that. Sometimes I'll close my eyes and I'll just say, call me. And it'll happen. And then I giggle and snicker about it. But that was my power. That's the power that you really have. And the power in your hands. Our hands are power tools. In case you don't know that. Try it. Don't believe me. Try it. And see, once you start trying things, what happens? It's like a muscle. My arm is messed up. But guess what? It's been listening to 432, 528, and all that, because that's what I believe. I don't believe in, necessarily going to all these doctors. This is the first time I've been to a doctor. I can't even tell you when. I'm 73. I can't tell you when I went to a doctor's office. But because it's broke, and that was the only time I said I would ever go to a doctor, then that's what I'm doing so I can get it fixed. But it's just being fixed physically. You understand? So the emotional and the spiritual part is happening on its own. Okay. I made some comfrey salve and some rosemary salve because, rosemary and comfrey makes it more powerful for pain relief. So I've been spreading it on, going on, but that's what my grandmother used to do. And that's what we had the knowledge to do back in the day. But we know we've lost that. You can talk to anybody you want to talk to and ask them, well, you know anything about, organic castor oil? No. You know anything about comfrey salve? No. So these are the type of things we have to get back to. We have to get back to nature. I can't live anywhere without nature. I just can't. I won't. I refuse. All these places they're building here in Houston, the freeways, they're building what they call high rises. They want everybody out of the suburbs and the farms. They want us out. I used to have a 5-acre farm out in Sealy, Texas. And I sold it to one of my girlfriends. I paid $45,000 for it. It's worth over $300,000 now. But I couldn't live out there at the time because I was by myself with 2 dogs. And I had to come into Houston to go to work. I gave it up. But now out there, you go out there now and they're building all these little home complexes, mostly apartment complexes, because they want everybody in one place. Remember that. So again, as time gets tighter, we need to start figuring out where we're going to live. And I was looking at some place in Wilmington. I told my sister, I was looking at some places, but I couldn't find any around where she was that didn't have trees. I like trees, but that still might happen just so I have something to, for people to stay in when we have our events and stuff like that. But down here in Texas, there's a lot of farmland still available. You can get a lot of land for a little bit of nothing, but you can cultivate that with a couple of people that really want to do something. I'm not interested in chitting and chatting with people that don't want to do anything. Leave me alone, please. I don't hang out with people. So if you're serious about something like that, those are things we can discuss at a later date. But that's what I think we have to have is our own. And if somebody want to come in and tear it up or tear it down, we need to have security. We don't have any security. So, our males need to step up a little bit on that. Okay. We don't have it. So these are the critical issues I feel: food, water, security, home, where we're going to live, what we're going to do, how we're going to handle that, So, and it's really deep. It really and truly is. So look up the Tartarian civilizations, the people in Peru, because there's portals all over this world. Arizona, Texas. Texas is the 33rd parallel. Did y'all know that? And I see UFOs flying past there all the time. Okay, Sedona. Okay, so we just need to get back to our own, and we have it in us to do it, and I think it's going to happen. So, you know, we just need to share with each other whatever information we know and keep it real and keep it live. Anybody next to me in Texas, the shit hit the fan, come on to Texas. If y'all watched the Walking Dead when it first came out. See, I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV in about 7 or 8 years. I watch movies for remedy, not for entertainment purposes, never. But I watched The Walking Dead because guess what happened? When the crap hit the fan, everybody was trying to come where? To Texas, and all the modern Europeans were trying to get to where? Go across the Rio Grande to where? Mexico. And in the movie, the Mexicans was like, oh, no, you don't. You know, so again, I don't know. I guess I was here. I don't have anyone here. I have my cousin moved here. She's a doctor with her husband. And I have a cousin in Dallas, but that's it. I don't have anybody here. I'm by myself. So, you know, these are the things I'll be thinking about. So,
my son is coming. Your nephew's coming down there.
Yes, he is. Thank God. Help me. I'm moving this weekend, supposedly. You know, I'm just like, y'all can see I'm empty back here. That's why I apologize for that. And books, I have thousands of books. This was my library, and I have thousands of books. See, look. And then that's just on this side, but the side I'm sitting right here is books. And then in my bedroom, I have books, you know. But yeah, I've been studying for a very, very, very long time.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you're very versed in a lot of areas, and that's why you're the chairman of the board. I appreciate that. Yeah. But thank you, Cynthia. Dr. Kia. Many people sense that something significant is happening on the global stage, and of course, you know, you have the attention of the world when you speak on a global level. The guests you have, or just your sheer perspective and insight that you share. So from a geopolitical and financial perspective, what are some of the major shifts taking place right now that everyday people should be paying attention to? I mean, Cynthia mentioned the thing about Zelle. I mean, I'm thinking Zelle's the only place where you can send something and they don't take anything out, or now they probably want to try to monitor that and so forth. So where do you stand on that?
In terms of the global shifts that I see happening, I can't hear you.
Go ahead. It was me. I was behind you and realizing you were answering me.
Oh, I couldn't hear you. Okay. In terms of the global shift, I'll speak monetarily because I heard our sister ask who's in charge of the money and whose money are we using? That's a great question because we have been using money that had curses on it, money that was controlled by the deep state or the federal government, and the Federal Reserve central banking system. But that is being changed over to now the money is going to be, we're going to be in charge of the money. So I'll make this quick. Representative Thomas Massey from Kentucky has pushed forward bills to actually destroy the Federal Reserve banking system. And it's called the End or Abolish the Federal Reserve Act. While he's doing that, as I mentioned earlier, the Supreme Court of the United States overturned not only the Chevron doctrine to demolish the government, but also to say that state-sponsored banks now can disband from the Federal Reserve central banking system and issue out their own gold-backed currency. So that's encouraging because now what we're saying is that states are now operating in their sovereign capacity, which is in alignment with the Republic, our lawful government. The Republic says that each state is a country. So now all the states are passing laws using the tools of the deep state, their bills, to actually, and writing laws and legislation to actually make sure they align with the Republic. So who was in charge of the money was the Federal Reserve central banking system, as we all know, and we were using their money, but now we'll be using gold, silver, and copper people don't sleep on copper. Okay. Copper was just added to the United States of America's critical minerals list along with silver. Well, we know why, because, we know what that means. We know who the true Americans, the original Americans are, the copper colored races discovered here by the Europeans. We know that copper historically has been used as money. Don't sleep on copper, and I'll leave it there. In this new monetary system, the banks will all collapse. That's why you've seen hundreds of banks collapse over the last 10 years. Because that banking system was a part of maritime law and admiralty law, which is the law of the water. And that has nothing to do with us. The law of the waters, according to the United States Incorporated, is a part of them. We're moving from maritime law to the laws of the land. So all of that is collapsing. All the banks are collapsing. The banks that remain are turning into wealth management centers. You can look that up online. They're all transitioning to wealth management centers because the whole planet is going to be wealthy. The silver, gold, palladium, platinum, all the riches all over the world will be released to the people. I've spoken to people who are over certain trusts, family trust, the Rodriguez Trust, the Saint Germain Trust. In fact, I know who's the person who will release the Rodriguez Trust, the Saint Germain Trust, all these ancient dynasties trusts where these dynasties have been accumulating wealth for a long time, waiting for this time period that we're living in now, where humanity will be liberated. So the central banking system is collapsing. They're defunct. The state sovereign banks now, they have gold and silver in their coffers. Additionally, you and I, and this is something that people don't realize, you and I, we are the banks, as somebody said, but we are the banks for our families. I know we're the money, but as we're living in this system, I'm saying, in addition to us being the money, we are accumulating silver, gold, palladium, and platinum, and those things right now, copper. We're accumulating foreign currencies. We're accumulating all those things, and we're setting them up in trust for our family, because we're not waiting on the people that were in power. So we are the money. We are accumulating wealth. We are not only accumulating wealth, but we're also conducting family governance meetings with our own individual families. And we're saying, look, I am the matriarch of this family. And if there's a man, he's the patriarch. This is the way, this is our mission statement for the family. This is our vision statement for the family. These are our values surrounding wealth. Here's our constitution. And this is how we're going to be governing our family. So we are the wealth. We have the banks. Now, in terms of what everybody else is going to be using as money, there'll be three ways to use money, because the wealth management centers no longer have the old banking system behaviors or realities. The new wealth management centers have what's called a quantum financial system. The quantum financial system is a living, sentient system that reads people's energy. It reads your energy center. So when you go to access that wealth, they're reading your energy. Some people don't like that, and I get it, because yes, they know everything we're doing. But the good side of that is, now when you're accessing this money, you're not using it to buy babies. You're not using it to traffic humans. You're not using it to get drugs. So they're reading your energy. So the wealth management centers now are taking the place of the banks. We'll be using the quantum financial system, which is a gift from the extraterrestrial beings that are here to monitor the earth plane. They have gifted us with this new system that's completely dismantled from the central bank system. Having said that, we have that quantum financial system. They'll be using three different types of monies that way: precious metals, digital assets or digital coins, and new currency that they're calling rainbow currency that is backed by precious metals. What I have encouraged the Soul family to do, because a lot of us don't trust their digital system, and I get that. We don't even trust the wealth management centers to a great extent. But when you get access to your wealth, because we are getting access to our wealth through new laws, which are really old, that will be set in stone, called the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, through NASARA. After this whole government is dismantled and Trump steps down, after he will have done his job and it's complete, the republic will resurrect. We'll be back in charge of our own wealth. And we will be able to, yes, use the wealth management centers, but to use them and you'll use the digital coins, you'll use the precious metals, you'll use the fiat, new notes that's backed by silver and gold that will be minted by the United States Treasury Department. Use that to get you some gold. Use whatever system they have to get the money that you need. Use whatever digital assets that you get access to buy gold, and then accumulate and store that, so it's not in their wealth management centers. It's not digitally recorded. So once you get that, you can wait to get it. Once your trust, you get access to your trust. You can wait till Nasara and Jasara is released and you get access to your money, or you can start accumulating wealth right now and put all your wealth in a trust, because your trust controls your asset. When you put all your assets, your house, your cars, your precious metals, your gold RM notes, you can buy gold RM notes right now for $10. Those are gold backs. You know, I know we don't like really using money. I'm just saying, while we're in the system, you can get gold backs for $10. You can go to APMEX, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, Money Metals Mint. You can go to goldbacks.com and get gold, because those gold backs, those are gold RM notes, 24 karat gold pressed onto a note that right now today you can use to buy local goods and services. You can use to barter. You can use to pay your property taxes right here in the state of Florida. Why? Because 46 states already have repealed or removed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals, acknowledging silver and gold as money to align with our Constitution for our republic that says silver and gold is money. So they're already minting gold RM notes, just to let you know and seed it in your consciousness that we've already returned to the gold standard. So I want everybody to be encouraged to know that the old monetary system is collapsing. You know, the moment you make up your mind, the universe conspires to assist you. Make up your mind that I'm in control. I am God. I am in control. That just means I'm a creator. I'm a co-creator of my own life. Okay. I'm in control. Nobody controls me. I'm not, I'm empowered. So when you do that, then you write out your personal mission statement. What am I here for? You write out your vision statement. What do I see for my future? Then you write your family's mission statement. What's the family here for? And then you write out your family's vision statement. What do we see for ourselves in the future? When you focus on yourself and your family, you don't care about war going around. I mean, you care about the people, but it's not a part of your reality. Because your reality is that you are living and thriving, enjoying life and building up community. Your reality is that you're accumulating wealth for your posterity, meaning your future generations. So set up family governance meetings where you meet with your family and you let them know, and to get the buy-in, they can help you with it, what the mission is and the vision is for your family. And then again, put all your assets in trust. That way you don't own the assets. Your trust owns the assets and you control the trust. So who's in control of the money now? I guess they are, of their money and everybody else in 3D. But who's in control of the money in my business, my family? Dr. Kia Pruitt. Who's the matriarch? Dr. Kia Pruitt. Who has to get money in order to do whatever they want to do? They go through Dr. Kia Pruitt, because as the ladies have said, we are the wealth. What money do we use? We use silver, gold, and we taught other people in the community. That's why I always tell people, establish relationships with local merchants in your community and teach them about bartering, silver, and gold. You can go to goldbacks.com right now and put in your zip code, and they will tell you every merchant in your state that accepts silver and gold as money today. Because again, 46 states have already repealed sales taxes from precious metals, meaning they're saying you can't tax metals, which means they're saying metals cannot be no longer used as a commodity. It is real money. So this is what I told people in my family and in the Soul Tribe and in my private group. We control our own reality. We control our own money. We control all that. And we teach people in the community the same thing. And we started bartering too, with exchanging services with people in the community and exchanging the services that they render us for silver and gold. And you can start little by little you can just pay them a tip with silver or with a gold RM note. And that opens up the door for conversation. So I just want to encourage people, because I know people like to talk about, wealth and money, and I really don't want to veer from what we're saying, because we are the money. I agree with that. And I've been blessed by this conversation of them saying that we are the wealth. But stay encouraged, because the monetary system is changing. The governments are changing. Then you have the whole world coalescing against the deep state or the government, United States Incorporated, by joining the BRICS bloc. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. When they joined that bloc, they stopped trading with the dollar and they're using their own local currencies backed by precious metals. They also have their own militaries. They kicked out colonists. Somebody spoke about the African nations, and I'll end with that. The African nations have kicked out colonists and ended the Berlin Conference, which was the scramble for Africa. They had a scramble for America too. You had the Dutch that were here. You had the French that were here. You had the Spaniards. You had the Brits. All were here colonizing the Americas and certain states in America. Why do the people in Louisiana speak French? Because the French colonized them. Why do certain peoples in America, they're very adept at Spanish, including Mexico, which is part of our landmass? Because the Spaniards, colonized them. So there were people that colonized us, people that colonized the African nations, but the African nations kicked them out. Study what the French African nations did: Niger, Senegal, Chad, Burkina Faso, and there's one more. There's one of Mali. They kicked the French colonists out, and now the French government, they were in flux. The whole French economy collapsed. So what they do, they kicked out the whole financial administration in France, because they were like, we can no longer take advantage of Africa and steal their resources. Now they're struggling. So the African nations kicked out the colonists, those that were colonized by French. They led the charge, and they said, we got our own military. They're using their currency. They got the backing of Vladimir Putin if they needed extra help. And so now Africa is saying, we're going to be one Africa, have one payments platform system and one passport, and they're working on one currency to unify the African nations. You also have the BRICS bloc: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Those nations, where more than 85% of the global population is a part of them, they stopped trading with the United States dollar. They have their own payment system. So everything is changing in the world. I know I don't have a lot, and I don't want to use too much time, but the financial system is changing. The government is changing. That's why President Trump removed us from 66 international organizations, and he established the Board of Peace. The Board of Peace aligns with Project Sandman. That was a secret agreement decades ago between 209 nations to stop trading with the United States dollar, and they agreed to world peace. I know we see with our eyes war playing out, but you never know what's orchestrated. You never know what's real, what isn't real. But what we do know is that behind the scenes, countries have agreed to world peace. That's why they joined the BRICS bloc. That's why BRICS now has more than 85% of the global population a part of them. That's why the African nations now are standing on their own as one country, unified country. That's why the Middle East now, they've established new economic policies, and they're saying they're stable now. The whole world is saying we're stable and open for business. You cannot believe mainstream media. We have shown proof after proof on our channel and in our private group that even Iran said we're open to American markets a while ago. So a lot of stuff that's playing out on the world stage is really a cover for them taking down the deep state, cleaning out some of these areas like Dubai, because a lot of these billionaires were trafficking children and drugs and had modern day slavery, and so and running money through there and doing all their dirt. So they had to clean it out. Stay encouraged, family. Keep your vibrations high, and know that this is your time. Know that you are God. Know that you are a co-creator. Know that you have dominion. Know that you have power and control over your life. And as such, start setting up your family. Get your family in order. Get your mission and vision statement out. Do some family governance meetings and learn about wealth and legacy so that you can take care of your family first and then move out to extend to the community. Because like our sister said, we need each other. So we all need to be meeting the farmers, meeting the hairdressers, meeting the butchers, meeting the people in the community, and honing our own skills, because we are the wealth, and we are the new government. We are the new factories. We are the new stores. We are the new education centers. The federal United States Federal Department of Education has no money. And President Trump took some of that money and he put it aside and gave it to the states so that we can homeschool our own children and or send them to private school. It's your time. You will have the schools. You will create the schools. You will recreate the spiritual centers. You will create entertainment or music. I know we don't like the word music. I just learned that today. But the music, for lack of a better term, you will create all the things that they control. And you are the new bank or the wealth management center for your family. And I yield.
That was amazing. I was having a conversation with my granddaughter, I want to say today or yesterday, and she's 38. She said, "My mom, look," she said, "I want to get land." She said, "We can all have our homes on that land." My 38-year-old granddaughter, she said, she said, "I don't want anybody to live with me, but she said, I want enough land where everybody can have their own space and we need to all be together." And I am the matriarch of, of that of our family. So that was a timely conversation, and which leads me into to Dr. Thomas, because she and I have had some lengthy conversations. I think the very first time we talked, we spoke for 2.5 hours, and the next conversation we had along with Mother Kahai was 6.5 hours. Was it? About 6 hours on one phone call. That's a long time to talk, and very interesting. I mean, she's such a wealth of knowledge. I don't know whether I want to talk about, connected metaphysics and the lymphatic system that you are very versed in, and you have written those books about. You said, I don't know if we want to talk about that before we get into the Global 528, but I definitely want you to. I saw you shaking your head when Dr. Kia was talking, because a lot of what she said is the things that we've talked about with the Global 528, and the fact that I guess there is more than one bank and system, but there's one that's actually operating where you actually are getting deposits from now. So where do you want to go? I'm gonna open this floor for you to go whichever way you want to go. You want to talk about the lymphatic system, healing, you want to go Global 528.
Okay, the first thing I want to say is this is an auspicious day because you, Sister Dr. Kai, Sister Dr. G, Sister Kia, Sister Cynthia, all of us, there are 5 of us here. You are the linchpin for all of our sisters to come together at this time so that we can share the unconditional love that is the base of our beings. Inside that unconditional love is a consuming fire of love, dissolves all discord of every kind and ilk. And your solar return is the linchpin for that. I want you to know that. This is what Spirit showed me this morning, because I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get on today, as you know. Everything tried to prevent me from getting on this show. I want you to know that you did what you said you were going to do. You said, I'm going to be the linchpin for that. And you are. We have sisters in every family that have gone through the same training before we even got here, so that we can stand right now at this time, because we're needed more now than ever. And we were told you will know when it's time for you to come together. It'll automatically happen. But this is the day that we stand with all of our sisters all over this earth plane who come here to anchor unconditional love with this consuming fire. We are all mothers. We are mothers of all. We have our own children and we have our bonus children. And our bonus children are all the children that are around us. And we're all over the world. We're in every community. So I thank you, Sister Dr. G, for making that declaration, because you have done it. And Mother Kahai, all the things that you have said, the glitching that we do, it encompasses all that is in what glitching means that Dr. G put, because it's unconditional love. We just need to understand that there's a consuming fire of love that's within every one of us alive. But it is the sisters that are here now at this time to make sure that that's anchored. We're in all fields, we're everywhere. And I call everyone forth to radiate the love that is in their hearts, that we all know that we can do and that we do, because it'll dissolve all of this discord. And those of us who are here at this time, we survived so that we could be here at this time. So that the linchpin that is the solar return of our sister who said, I will be the linchpin, could happen. And it's no mistake that there are 5 of us here. And that's the first thing that I want to say. And so I want to thank everybody for being here, and for every sister that listens to this, wherever they are, whenever they listen to it, because they're being activated by us, because they're our sisters, because guess what? They all understand the same things that we do. That's how we know that's our sisters. And so they're being activated, and whether they hear this broadcast or not, we're going to see a wave of love and upliftment that only could happen at this time, because that's what we came to do. That's the first part. So we are laying the foundation for everyone to be able to be uplifted, to be balanced, so they can bring forth whatever gifts and love, or however they're going to do it while they're on this earth plane. And to the young sisters, you're not left out. You are some of our oldest souls. And so I want you to know it's time to stand up. Shine your light. Be the love that you know that you came to be. And unconditional love is for everyone. It's unconditional, meaning everyone. It'll lift up the men, it'll lift up the children, and it'll lift up the trees, the animals. It'll clean the air. It's unconditional love has that consuming fire. It will do that. And then, Mother Kahai, you mentioned the 14th. On April 12th to the 14th of 2025, last year, a pink moon showed up, which I had never heard about in astrology and before that happened. But there were many of us who were using the pink light of unconditional love to clean the air and all of that. We asked for a divine intervention. And it happened on that day. One of our sisters called me and said, there's a pink moon tomorrow. And I said, what? I never heard of it. She said, me either. She said, well, that's what's happening. So I just said, okay, I'm going to take a picture of that. I want to see and ask Spirit, well, what does this mean? Well, I did take a picture. I did see the pink rim go around the moon, which was the beginning of the divine intervention. I did not know it at the time. And I asked Spirit, well, what does it mean? I didn't get an answer. So I went to sleep. The next morning I wake up and I open my blinds and I'm looking out the window, and it was a day that was completely clear. No clouds in the sky, none of that. And I just kept looking and looking, and I noticed the pink light in the air. It wasn't blending with the blue, it just was laying over the blue. And I said, oh my God, oh my God, only our divine family of light could have thought of something so simple. It's in the very air that we're breathing. So people will automatically start to get well. Those people who are stealth evil, as I call them, well, when they're brought to balance, if that's still where they're coming from, they'll just be dissolved. We don't have to do anything except radiate the unconditional love that is the base of our lives. It is the essence of every last one of us. And it's the only thing that we can send to another that does not violate their free will. So thank you for being the linchpin for that. And to all of our sisters who are listening, shine your light. Be the unconditional love that you came to be. And so I think we all got that. And Mother Kai, the numbers today, I'm looking at uh, uh, our Sister G's birth numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I just am, I'm just grateful to be here, because I wasn't going to be here. At 22, I was leaving. I had terminal lymphatic cancer, and I was happy to be leaving. I didn't like the world. It was just not a place for me, not enough world. I was angry and taking myself out because of it. And then Spirit showed me this time. Then I wanted to live with all my might, and I am here. And I'm happy to be here to be able to deliver this message, because all of our sisters are coming together now. This is the linchpin. The unconditional love that we radiate together is going to uplift and heal everything. And so that's the first thing I want to say. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Sister G, because you fulfilled what you said. You're the linchpin.
If I may, I would like to
Yo,
say
go right
something
ahead.
about, I want to talk about Dr. G, okay, my sister for life. And it has a lot to do with the duality of the reality that we're in right now. Okay. So, we're in the duality, and that means that everything is a comparison. And it was real interesting that Dr. G mentioned to me that she was going to be the glitch. Okay. And I never shared anything with her because, she's real busy. And, she's gone through some changes in a personal pentacle period. When we get to be a certain stage, we're in a period where that's what our life theme is. Okay, we go through stages, and it's just like the seasons. So when she tell me about the glitch, I just want to say that I might not be able to say it all because it's a lot to it, and I never shared it with her. I just listen. A lot of times I'm called to talk, but I don't really like talking because I don't feel like I just do any good because I know that everything is simple as one, two, three, and I feel like I'm in a dumb class. Just like when I was in elementary school and I had a Hebrew teacher, and she used to always take me to lunch with her because I did all the classwork because she already said in the beginning of the semester, when you're in elementary school, we're going to learn this, we're going to learn that. And I just went ahead and did it because you had the answers already in the book, the questions and the answers in the back. So it was very simple. So now I know that according to my stage right now, I'm in the same class with those people that were in the class with me in elementary, but they're the same age. And it was a dumb class then, and it's a dumb class right now. So I don't generally like to say everything because just like, it has been stated, but the phone isn't the phone. The phone is actually the overseer in the field, and we are in the field. That's where the mind is. The mind is the mind field, and there's booby traps out here, and you can get your ass blown up, okay, if you step in the wrong place or step on the wrong foot. So with Dr. G being the glitch, they already know she's the glitch, is what I want to say, because of her birthday. Your birthday is a signature of what mother intends to do in purpose and what she's going to be in this realm. And when you are a 13-4, that's a karmic number, meaning that you didn't do those things in a previous incarnation. So with Dr. G and I, we always talk, and I'm like, well, you're going to get it right this time because, it's karmic, that 13-4 for anybody that has it, because there are many ones, as we talked about, because that's on energy. And so she's on right now because 32 actually is the glitch, and 32 is America, okay, equals 32, which is the same five. That's why you see people going and coming in the communications and things of that nature. So glitch equals the same, 32, 5. Now, did she prepare to do that? Maybe not. Maybe she did. But the fact of the matter that she's a life path that come again, 13-4. Everybody's been waiting on the Christ and for Christ to return as a man. And I told you about the switch. And so they switched everything and made Christ to be a man, but the Christ is actually a woman. And so the woman has to get it right this time. It's karmic. We have not got it right. That there's no man that is going to save us. We are the savior. We are the life giver. We're everything. So now Christ has returned. And this is the corona period. So all the women have to be the Christ, meaning to come together. And what the deception is that there's some patriarch that's going to do something. And there's no patriarch that's going to do nothing because there's no patriarch that can save us because we are the savior. Now, that's contrary to belief. Okay? But I don't deal with belief. I deal with no. Okay? And know nothing, because the word no is the sound of no. And that's purposely because you see, the mother says that you really know nothing. You have to remember, meaning collect yourself all together as me. Mother's energy is me, M-E. See? So everybody's walking around believing and thinking they know, K-N-O-W, something. But what you have to know is you know nothing, or this would just end. The conflict and the fact that anytime we're still dealing with the money to buy whatever thing it is, because it's a tool, there's some deception there because the glitch is right? The Christ. The Christ said some things like Dr. G might say in allegory. Did you understand what she said? No, you didn't understand what she said. And one of the things that is stated by the Christ woman, right? Because that would be like likened to the grandmother, okay? And I would tell my children this, okay? All my children, do not store your treasures on earth where moth and thief can enter. Not in a cold wallet, not in a safe, not in a hot wallet or whatever. Don't store it there where moth and thief can enter because they know you have it. And this is why you have to put it what in a trust because it's really mother's trust that was stolen. See, we are her trust. She trusted us with everything. So this is why it's always trust, 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 which is the number 7. But we have to accept that it's all an illusion. And it's a delusion. And so the glitch here is Dr. G, the 13:4, that the Christ has returned to get it right this time, to speak. Because leaving out of here in her period, it's all about the 5. And that's why people see her transformed or changed in the picture with the glitch with her laying down. And they looked at, oh, but that she doesn't look so spiritual there. She doesn't look like, the way the spiritual's supposed to look. No, she changed. She metamorphosized and she could change back because it's the same thing like they said about Jesus. Well, he was all spiritual in his white garb, and then all of a sudden, a carpenter? Clothes? Why? See, needed to disguise himself. So maybe just by Dr. G changing the way she looked, it's a Christ disguise to fit in with everybody else so that they don't notice what she's saying, even though it's allegory. So, all of this is to say that when you look at what my job is as the grandma star, is to get people to be aware, not awake. Because aware is just a difference of an R and a K. And that means that Dr. G has helped to make people more aware, not awake. Awake is what people go to when they're dead. You see? And to be aware means that, like I said, there's an E at the end. It's energy. It's a war energy. See, and the women are at war to switch. We have to switch everything back. We are not using the hiccup that they're using. And if you notice, the 14 is what was the number for the separation when you were dealing with Asar and Osset and the Egyptian. But why is it all about Egypt? Because they want to gypt us out of our trust. So they won't even say that Egypt is Africa. They want to say Africa is the motherland. No, 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 no. The whole earth is mother's land. So the woman has been put to sleep by the love spell, the money. She has to love herself and know that she is it. I don't know how to reinforce it because we're the glitch. We're the ones. And then Dr. G put us all together because we become the disciples, the disciplined ones who will actually act on it, put the action behind it, and show people that, well, there's only mother. You might see many faces, but that's why they said you never saw the face of God because there are many faces. And last I checked, and I don't want to offend anybody, but God don't need money. So this is a hard pill to swallow. And when you look at 1776, that's a 14-5. So those who are in opposition to us as mother and mother's keeper and daughters, because daughters become mothers, we're not using our switchcraft to be the glitch. Because it's clear as day, you see that they have an occultist that's working for them. And we're now in a delusion most because we are it. Whatever there is going to be in this realm, we are the ones who say the magic words. And the magic words are 4 words, just like they have the MAG on their head or the DOG. See? E, the dog energy, the ATM, which is the atom. They're just using what we knew, but we forgot. And they took our magic or took our trust because they were our sons. And we taught our sons, and they're my sons or my sons. So I know everything that they're doing. They can't fool Mother Nature. And neither
Mother
can
can.
they beat the Christ. We are the glitch is here. And it's her birthday because, not because it's her birthday, it's because her called Dr. G is only called into existence by this day. That the great mother says, I'm here to put this force back so that I can be healthy, because health is wealth. So Dr. G is the health of mother so that we can restore our wealth. She's a healthy cell, and we're all healthy cells. But because she's born on the 17th, that 7 equals trust, acceptance. The 1 is initiate, trust, and acceptance, and be open. That means open your mouth. Because that 3 in the 13-4, it means to speak creatively, and that's Trinity. That's the Trinity. And so the Trinity has returned. That's what they talk about in the Matrix, being the glitch. So this, all the Dr. G probably just sat back and just heard in her consciousness to say the glitch, but she's actually the glitch by numbers, because numbers don't lie and energy don't lie either. People do. So I know who my sister is portraying. Each and every one of you, or us, which is a united soul. That's what us are. You're united souls. The cells inside mother having the experience to make her healthy, because when she's healthy, we have everything. And that's why when you have a healthy body, you have everything. And that is what we have to remember, because that number 14 that they're using means separate everybody so that they forget. We need to just come together. That is all we need. We are everything, and everything is us. And when you say the words that are the 4 words that we will use the magic back against them, we say the words, what I say goes. That's it. Because they're using magic on us, and they have done it for so long, and have us going from switching from coins to dollars to digital, to become digital slaves. Not us to become digital slaves, but our children, our generations. That is generational wealth. When the wisdom does not get imparted to the young people, because we're going to be gone, and we could leave anything, silver, but if we don't leave the wisdom in how to keep mother healthy, then it's not going to be successful. It's going to be more of the same generational curse, because we did not love. There was a love of money, and that is why they say the love of money is the root of all evil. And then they tell us that our roots are Africa, and we are not from Africa because Africa is a colonized name. And I'm going to show you something when they said in roots, right? Roots, Roots, 5, the name of the movie, 5 letters. But they said that Kunta, which is 5 letters, also had to be called Toby, which is 4. And I show you back again the MAGA, the DOGE, and the other things that they're using reference to the 4 because it's the bridge to get over to the 5, because the 5 is the magic. You're free. You're disciplined. Okay, so now what happens with Toby? Remember this for magic going forward, because Dr. G, the Christ woman, has brought us together. And when all women come together and speak the words, what I say goes. And the cornerstone of what is 5, by the way. So, and the capstone is 7. So that means authority. Because the capstone of what I say goes is 7. So now I'm going to communicate my authority. What I say goes. And in 4, this is how they build. See, when we say, I want to make America great again, they're building, and building is 4. This is all magic, witchcraft. But the witch is us. They're the warlock, and that's why we're locked in war. So Dr. G returned the soul called into existence today, the 8, which is reciprocity, which is that number. Whatever you throw at me, I'm going to throw it right back at you. That's the glitch. So make no mistake that when they say, what I say goes, remember your mother said when you asked, she said, because I said so. 4 more words. So when they ask, what? No, it's what I say goes. What we all, the primordial daughters, speak. Because that is what the Christ woman must do. We must speak. And just like they use the 5 in the one big, beautiful bill, that's not by accident. They're occultists. When they use the Digital Asset Market Act, that is 5 words, because that's what they intend to do. See, that's the magic. And when a Set needed to raise the wood of her beloved one that was killed by Set, who they worship, she had to say the magic words, and she went to Thoth with his, which is number 5, the thought, the 5th chakra as well. That's where we are. So when you say, what are we in? We're in the 5th chakra, and that is missing because there's not that in 2026. The 5 is missing. So we need to speak. The woman must speak and communicate the words, the 5 magic words and the 4. Because we must say the 4 first, because that is the bridge to get over to the 5. We must do what they're doing, and we must do what Dr. G came to do and help her by throwing it back. Because that 8 is the real estate. That is what they're after. They're after making this a one world order. And order is the number 4. And that is why they give us the news. Because the news is NEWS, 4. See? So when they say they're going to do this, no. We don't believe them because we are the woman. And no man can do nothing. And if they're doing it, we're going more back into the patriarchal system. No man can save me. I am the Christ woman. My sister is the Christ woman. All my sisters and my daughters. We are the womb. We are representing her, which is the number 22, by the way, which is the Grand Master. And we are here, which is her energy. See, remember, the E is silent after every word. It's an energy. So we are her energy. And the opposition is also. But we rule, and Mother Nature rules. And we have to make sure that she's ruling. Nothing is going to change by anybody until the primordial force enforces it. And we are here to enforce that. And because Christ needs disciples, we are here as Dr. G's disciples. And some of us are secret disciples who are not on live today. But we are the ones right now who will speak up. And we have to be fearless because we know something that we know nothing. And we have to remember so that we can annihilate the opposition. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with Hika, Hika, 4 again. And they have us going to the ATM, but they just left out the U for Atum. And then they have the DOGE, which is the dog energy. So I'm only here to show how much they're using the 14. And it's not a coincidence, as I want to make sure those who came in maybe a little later, that we're dealing with those who have birth dates on the 14. So the more we go into the crypt, that is Egypt. Crypt equals 28-1, and so does Egypt. And Egypt is gypping us out of our trust because, number one, they don't say Africa. And that 4, once again, about us being slaves and beaten until we say Toby. But it's not Toby because, remember, they give us the definition and the sound. It's not Toby. It was never Toby, but they told us it was Toby, and we accepted that it was Toby when they beat Kunta into submission to say, your name is Toby. And why is that? Nobody has addressed it, and I'm going to tell you why right now. It's because for generations, they wanted you to buy their shit. It's not Toby. It's Toby, to buy. Under the spell of a monetary duality. So you get beat by the 4 letters, Toby. See? And then the 5, which was the magic, the Kunta, the Kunta, because the K is the cornerstone, which is an 11, a master, teacher, student. But the T is a 2, which is not masterful at all. See? So when you start to think about that, you see how they're using the 4 and 5, which are the numbers relating to that 14-5. And that 14-5 has been running from ancient of days. And that's why we're here to be the glitch. So that we all become the 22, the Grand Master, the sun. You see, is what we're here to be, the soul. And when, going back to just quickly, when the song came, the 7th, right, when the moon was in the 7th house, the 5th dimension, see, was first called, what were they called again? I think they were called something like Oh my goodness, I had it before. What were they called? Their name wasn't. They didn't call themselves the fifth dimension. Oh, the Versatiles, the Versatiles, something like that. They were called the Versatiles. Yeah, there we go, the Versatiles. See, because they could do so many things, and that's what we all are. We're versatile. So that was the message that was given, and so we have been broken down to be less than masterful. That's why we got beat down from being called Toby when it was to buy a slave. And when we on the phone, they made sure that the phone is the overseer, because the overseer is the one in the field listening to everything, and the slave master is in the house. And we're in the field, the great unified field. So when we're on the phone and Google is listening, that is the overseer, not the phone. And the phone is the device. See, and it's divisive. And not only that, it's to make us become more acid. So when we keep talking about the matriarch is not going to rise in her full power until she comes to power, which is the 8, which Dr. G has in her gift. The 8 is the number of power. And the matriarch comes into power when she throws back what's being thrown at her. Not an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. An eye for a whole body. Eh? You understand? It's like that. Because the grandmaster just plays, doesn't play.
Well,
so we can't. I just want to say, I'm going to end.
that's a
We
lot to
just say that.
swallow.
Well,
I said that's a
okay,
lot to swallow, but
well, I
yeah,
just wanted to talk about you and really the glitch and how important you are, that people get a more deeper in depth of how important you are, because people don't know how important you are, because there always is a hierarchy and there's a perception. When you change, people, oh, she can't be that because look at her now. Look at how she does. No, see, they have to know that that's what it's about.
yeah. Well, I think I know what you're seeing in that aspect. But what I'm doing, in this, if you will, stage of my life is pausing and taking better stock of who I need to be in order to continue the work that I have to do. I can't be beat down, broke down, sick, broke, busted, and disgusted. And so I am hopefully an inspiration that, at this age, you can start to, I'm going to the gym, I'm lifting weights, I'm, dropping 62 pounds. I'm doing it so that I can do what I came to do. So I do get that part. But Dr. Topzyana, I remember you said something when we were talking about, when you send something back to people graciously. Could you,
Oh yeah.
remember you
Uh,
saying that? Did you just say that?
about the about us sisters and knowing who we are. Is that what you mean, or is
When
you?
you talked about negativity coming to
Oh,
you,
oh,
how
yeah.
you,
Oh yeah, yeah. The thing is, unconditional love dissolves discord. And the thing is, we all know how to do that because we have children. And it's just something that we just have to do. It'll just dissolve all this madness and all that's going on. It's that simple. There is nothing more powerful than unconditional love because it has that consuming fire inside of it. I'm not a Bible person, anything like that. I'm not. But somebody said to me, Christ was talking about the consuming fire. And the point is, that's within us. But in terms of being a womb man, we are the mother of life here. It's like, okay, the men bring the life in. And it's our responsibility to make sure that the life can thrive and grow and be its individuated self. And all these young mothers need to know that when you're pregnant, your baby hears every thought, they feel every feeling that you're feeling. And that's why when we grew up, when somebody was pregnant, everybody knew to keep them happy, to keep them, whatever, to give them whatever they want. They massage their feet because we get crystals in our feet when we're pregnant. The women used to know, the womb men used to know how to take care of themselves. When my child was born, I remember taking him to a male doctor because most of the gynecologists were male. And I was breastfeeding him. And I already knew the power of a mother's breast milk. And so he wanted to give him a oral polio vaccine, which I didn't let him do any vaccines. And so I said to the doctor, well, if I let him do that, well, then what about the breastfeeding? He said, oh, you have to wait 3 hours to breastfeed because the mother's milk will eat up the polio vaccine. And I said, so then I just looked at my husband and said, is my point made? Because I was trying to have him understand that, but he couldn't understand that. He had to hear that from the male doctor. And then from that point on, I just told him, you're the father, not the mother. This is my responsibility to make sure that he knows what he's supposed to know and that he's nourished the way he's supposed to be nourished and all of that. That's my part. See, you can't do my part. It's like your part comes when he's starts to be a young man, 12 years old. I mean, you're going to be there, but that's when you really kick in. It's like, hey, I got to be hands off after that. It's just like our mothers knew that when the sons became 12 or whatever age it was, that they had to pick up something to make them do something, a broom handle or whatever. They were going to their dads because they knew that their sons are now shifting over into the male energy, of which we don't know anything about that like that. So I am so grateful that Dwayne was there for both of our sons because he was a man. And that's what my mother said to me when she met him. She said, he's not like these other men that you brought home. And I said, well, yeah, I know. She said, no, you don't. She said, Dwayne is a man. And I said, well, I know. She said, no, you don't, but you will. And she was right. I had no idea what that meant because he was himself. He was authentic. And he just, I used to call him a closet mystic. He would just chuckle at that. So he was an adept who played football. He wouldn't have been able to do all the things that he did if he wasn't who he was. And he talked about that. But the point is, it'll all come out later. That there is a book that he wrote that I will be putting out for his fans. But the thing is, when I met him, I didn't even see a man. All I saw was a light in a suit coming towards me. There was no man. It was just a light in a suit. Until he got 5 feet from me, maybe 6 feet, then I could see his face. Of course, all I thought was, what a powerful man that is. That's all I thought. I didn't have any other thought than that. It was just, I was just happy to be able to see that. Because we've met a lot of men who have that kind of light. It's like they've come, Dr. Ben, Dr. Van Sertimer, Dr. Gilbert, Delbert. I mean, the men are our brothers. They were full of light. And remember, we don't have to be perfect. We just have to be sincere. We just have to be true. We just have to be who we came to be. And that's what I'm saying to my sisters. We all came to radiate the unconditional love that only we can radiate. And that'll dissolve everything. And that doesn't mean unconditional love, you're supposed to let people take advantage of you and all that. No, that's not it. It's like when there's discord, yes, we deal with it. And we all know how to deal with it. I had one sister who had come into her mastery, and she said to me, she said, "Where are you looking from?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Where are you looking from?" She said, "Are you looking from where you are now? Or where are you looking from?" I said, "Yeah, I'm looking from where I am now." She said, "Don't do that." She said, "Go back to when you were 15. She said, "You look at life through those eyes, but with the wisdom that you have garnered through living, because you already know how to stay out of trouble, you know what to do." And she said, "Just remember that at 15, no matter what was going on in the world, we knew we had the power to deal with it all." Sure, we were emotional and all that because what? We were still growing. We were still learning who we are. But she said, now that you know who you are, go back and look out of those eyes at life. And not only will you connect with your sisters that are that age, you'll be able to impart to them the wisdom that you've been able to garner because you're standing with them, looking from the same eyes that at that age that we all, because we're adults by then. A lot of us have gone through a lot of trauma by then and all that. The thing is, those of us who are still here, just look out of the 15-year young eyes. With your wisdom. And when she said that, I just said, wow, okay, okay. And I do that. Not only does it bring your youth back, you again to be able to impart to your sisters, whether you say anything or not. Because we are connected. We're individuated, but we're still connected. And that connection is supposed to come through the unconditional love that we have for ourselves first, so that we can share that with others. But we have to get that back for ourselves first. We really do. And usually when we have children, that helps. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Well, anyway, we can go.
I don't want to cut you, Elizabeth, but I'm looking at the time. I want you to, before we close, though, I want you to briefly, I know it's lengthy, give us a little information.
Okay.
I was going to say that, many people are hearing, can you hear me? Let me mute you for a minute. Many people are hearing about the importance of correcting one's status, and for some, it's a new concept. And when you came to me to talk to me about Global 528, as briefly as you can, and we can have another session specifically on this because Dr. Kia talked a lot about some of the very same things. Could you tell the viewers about Global 528 and what that means?
Okay. Just as Mother Kahai said, and you said, we are the value. And that's the premise that's on. It's Love-onomics. It was set up by, started by women who were understanding that love needed to be the base of everything that we do. And the reason why we have to correct our status is because we did not know that when we signed the birth certificates, we were signing our children over to the British Crown Corporation and the Vatican. We didn't know. They didn't tell us. We thought that we were registering our children with America. That is not what we did. And they didn't tell us, so nobody knew. And this went on for like 100, it's still going on, but it started like 165 years ago. But it came, in terms of America, it really started for us right after the Civil War. It's like, because people used to register their births in the family Bible or, you know, however they did it, but they didn't have a piece of paper that represented the soul of the person. See, that's also sorcery, because we're on the plane of demonstration. Everything here has, if you create a physical equivalent, it's attached to whatever you created for or from. So when they did the birth certificate, which was created by the Vatican, just like they did the banking system and the corporate system, they set them up to rule the world. When they did the birth certificate, it made our children under admiralty law and owned by the papacy. Nobody knew this. We didn't know. I did not know this until Dwayne ascended. When he ascended, and I'm in touch with him all the time, there was a meeting that I was supposed to go to, and I wasn't going to go because I thought it was just about water. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't need to know more about that. And he said, he called me by my middle name. He said, Shatima, go to the meeting. And I said, but he said, go to the meeting. So when I went to the meeting, it wasn't about any of that. It was about correcting your status, which we had already in 1996 taken ourselves out of the system, but we didn't know about the money. Now, when there is no death, so some of us know, a lot of, eventually everybody will know that. So when somebody crosses over and you keep in touch with them, not only do they see everything, they know everything, they can help the family, they can help you, but you just make sure there's somebody that loves you. So when he told me to go to that meeting, and I came back and I just said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because we knew that there had to be some resources involved, because you can't be sovereign without funds. And so I went and corrected my status the next week, meaning I took myself from citizen under admiralty law, which is what the birth certificate does, and put myself back on the land jurisdiction of which my mother intended. Now, when you do that, what happens? Number one, when we're first born, we're born on the land. Whatever is on that land and underneath the land, the point is that's part of the wealth that everybody is supposed to partake of on that land. And so everybody's heard about Anna, but they don't really know. The point is, Anna von Reitz and others, because ever since the time of Christ, you know, there have been people trying to, you know, keep people from being enslaved by the Pharisees and all that sort of thing. So during our time, it's through the corporations, and it's through the corporations. So that's what they did. That's why it's important for you to correct your status. But even in terms of how you correct your status, there are many different ways to do it. But if the 1779 Declaration, which is when that started, which undoes all the birth certificate attachments, and what comes back to you is the wealth of the land that you were born on, which was being used by the corporations because they owned our birth certificates. So that's how they were using our wealth, and they were using it as credit. Because under international law, number one, you have to have assets to do business internationally. So normally it's gold and prepaid. They were using our prepaid credit, which is based on the resources of the wealth of our land. And we paid them to do governmental services because we didn't have our own Navy or anything like that. And so they were protecting our goods and all that. At first, everything was fine. They were doing what they were supposed to do. And then they started offering these governmental services to other countries. That's how everybody ended up under the admiralty system under corporations and all of that. That's how that happened. And that history used to be known, but they stopped. We were not taught American history. All we have been taught is admiralty history, because the schools were taken over by these people by 1933 through stealth. What we call the deep state now, or the cabal, are those people who were they are also the satanic brother sisterhood who took over everything, and a part of the Vatican too. But in 2015, Pope Francis came over here and started a voluntary bankruptcy. And he told all the corporations, you got to give the money, and everybody's got to give the people back their money. He was trying to save the church. So he started involuntary bankruptcy. And so what Trump is doing is actually a bankruptcy. And who are the beneficiaries of the bankruptcy? The people who are born in America or naturalized in America. If you're born here, then you're a part of America, and you have your wealth that is under the ground, all that oil and all that belongs to the people. And in terms of, they also created at least 3 corporations after each one of us who had birth certificates. And they were going all over the world doing business in our names. It's like, somebody has a brewery in Barbados, somebody has something in France. The point is, they just copied our names, created corporations. No, we did not benefit from that. All of that is coming back. So what Dr. Pruitt is saying is absolutely true. However, when it comes to the quantum financial system and all that, this needs to be known. Before the 2024 election, Trump and Elon and other billionaires created another corporation called the United States of America Republic, LLC, chartered it in London. So when Trump was talking about, well, it's not going to work, but what they were going to try to do was take our they were saying America didn't exist. Oh, this had, okay, I got to go back to last year at Easter time. Last year at Easter time, Trump and his people had to go to the World Court, and we were aware that they were going meaning the Americans who had corrected their status were aware that they were going to the World Court. Well, Anna Birthrights is the fiduciary for America, the country, not any corporation. Her job is to make sure that we're protected and our resources are protected and that we know what's going on. Of course, if you deal with the mainstream media and all that, it's owned by the Admiralty system. They have all these things to say, which are not true. She's also the last living member of the Saint Germain family, which is why Trump was not able to get his hands on the Saint Germain Trust, because he was making announcements about that. And she did a declaration, because her job is to make sure that we understand what's going on. So she does declarations on everything. Like she had to make the whole world aware that it's not the American people who are doing this, because they were saying the Americans are, we're bombing people, all the stuff that these corporations were doing, we were getting the blame for as American people. So she had to make it clear that no, the American people are not doing this. This is the corporation, our corporate, what do they call it? Our employees, because we hired them to do business for us. They just took over the store. Not only did they take over the store, they took over every country the same way, doing the same thing, except Ethiopia and Iran up until 1979, until the Shah until they, put the Shah in. Up to 1979, it was Iran and Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the only country on this whole earth plane that was never colonized by the West. They knew who they fought them, and they did not allow them to overtake them. And the Ark of the Covenant is still in Ethiopia. Well, anyway, the point is the Global Family Bank that was created is the country of America's bank. It's just like Dr. Pruitt was saying, every state is like a separate country, but they are under the Federation of States for protection as a military and all of that. We're also a Federation of States so that we can help each other during disasters and stuff like that. So last year, during the Easter holiday, because a lot of these things happen on a holiday because people aren't paying attention, blah, blah, blah. Trump was at the World Court and he was saying to the judge, we are going to take the prepaid credit and the assets of America and permanently, because America is not standing. Well, our representative was right there and said, Your Honor, America is standing. I'm here to represent America. And at that point, that's when Trump was told that he had to give the money, the assets, and whatever credit they owed back to the American people. And also, Trump is not an American anyway. It came out during that event with the World Court that he's Bavarian. And remember, he's the head of a corporation. Every president from George Washington to Trump, have been agents of the British Crown. Remember, we hired them to do governmental services for us, and they just took over the store. So now everything is being given back. However, in 2023, everybody who had a bank account, their bank accounts were mirrored onto this system that they call Fed Now. It's like if you had a bank account, you were put on this Fed Now system, which was the precursor to what they're calling the quantum financial system. It's all blockchain. It's all blockchain. It's not, there is no quantum system like they're talking about, but that's a whole other story. The point is, they are not sharing with people. So they're telling people, okay, you can take your birth certificate and go to the Treasury Department, I mean, all that, but that does not correct your status as an American. You're still a British citizen. You have to take yourself out of that system and put yourself back on the land. Now, the Moors were doing it. Like I said, we did that in 1996 because of Grand Sheikh Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey. Because we listened, we went through everything. In those days, you had to send stuff to The Hague and all that. So we did all that. But again, we didn't have the money part. That did not come until he ascended. And so I'm just saying, sure, the states is true. The states can have their banks and all that. But America, we have our own bank as a country. And it's based on the 528 frequency. It's based on love, loveonomics, all that sort of thing. And it's plain carriage accounting. Every American Federation dollar, which is the money for America, it's called an American Federation dollar, is worth 1/10 the price of gold on a daily basis. That's what so everybody gets the same amount every month. You get $5,280, which is also the frequency, the love frequency, and also a mile. And that translates to whatever the price of gold is on a daily basis. That's what you get for your birth certificate being trafficked, when you make the correction and put yourself back on the land. Then there's the prepaid credit part. That comes from the ferns, or the Federal Reserve note, we call them ferns, that are really IOUs that didn't really have any real value, but people were getting goods and services for these firms. So if people accepted it, and so that's what happened. They didn't know that it really wasn't worth anything. The petrodollar, which was used internationally, that was backed by gold. That's not what we use in the country on a daily basis. We use the IOUs that we call firms. And so they're not worth anything. And so when the system completely goes down, which it has to, those people who are holding ferns, because there's a lot of people that don't have gold and silver, and they're not going to have gold and silver. They're not making enough. They're just not educated enough to do that. So what the Global Family Bank is, which is America, the country's bank, they said, okay, we don't want people starving and uncomfortable or any of that. So even if you have not corrected your status, and open an account under the vault, and you can put your money, that these funds that are not worth anything, you can put them in the vault, and you will get 1-to-1. You will get 1 American Federation gold-backed dollar for every 1 fiat dollar that you put in there. Because again, there's a lot of people that don't have silver and gold, and no one should be uncomfortable or be starving. And so, again, a lot of us have taken ourselves off of the system before, out of the Admiralty system before this, but we didn't have the money piece. So now we have the money piece. So when people come back onto the land, not only are they wealthy, because not only are they getting the money for you're getting 160 years of all of our families being mistreated. This is how it was set up with the country to do. And so there are states that are setting up their banks and everything. But remember, if it's the state of, that's the corporation. There's the state of Arizona, and then there's Arizona State. And America is a country. We are unincorporated. We are not a corporation. And our banks, there's 4 banks that we have under the banking system. And so Global 528, or the Global Family Group, everything is explained. So if you go to global528.com, the site will come up and it'll have all the banking stuff in the back, but on the left, it'll have how we got here. So the whole history of how all this has occurred is there. And then on the right side is another column with all of Anna's declarations since our states have been reconvened. And let me say this, it's our state assemblies in America that run the country, and our county assemblies that run the country on a local basis. And so I encourage everybody to, when they correct their status, however they correct their status, go and open your account on the Global Family Bank and have our people, especially the young people, start learning how there's classes, there's education, everything they put on this one site, because they didn't want people to go all over the place for things to be misconstrued and all of that. So our government is transparent. They're not going to do anything and not without you knowing about it, because you're supposed to be informed about what's going on. And I will say this, because this is the most, once I started really getting into how all this happened, it just dawned on me one day that, and I called Anna to confirm this. I could see, it's like everybody in every country knows her, because she went to every country to make them aware of what had happened, because nobody was telling anybody the truth. You're not going to have, the thieves aren't going to tell, the people that they're stealing from, what the deal is. So she had to do that, and she did. And even our military, or the military that that are being used as a mercenary force all over the world, because that's what Dishonest Abe did. Abraham Lincoln, he made our military with an executive order that he had no right to do, but he did it. the fighting force for the corporations, which is why and a cheap one. I mean, when you think about the fact that our military men and women, it's like they don't have enough to take care of their families. Well, anyway, they're found this out. First of all, cognitive dissonance set in first. Then they had to deal with the truth of it. Then they had to deal with who was on the side of the corporation and who was on the side of the real America. So finally, last year, the military finally is back with America that's supposed to be with us, and that is the Army. And remember, Trump is he's the commander in chief. That's a Navy term. That's water. That's admiralty. So that's basically what I have to say about this, because everything is on the site, including it's free for you to correct your status. You only need 2 witnesses that know you by the name that you go by, whatever that is. Your 1779 declaration, which says, I am not a British citizen, I'm born in America and I'm an American. And your birth certificate, because your birth certificate is proof of your being trafficked. All that's uploaded to the main American files, and then whatever state that you're from, it's like if you're in New York, then the New York Assembly gets your information, and they know that you're a New Yorker or you're an American state national in New York, or you're a New Yorker, just like I'm an Arizonan. But on my credential, it says American State National, Arizona State, because anytime you use of, that's the de facto or the corporations. I like the word de facto because it says everything. So that's basically what I have to say about that. And again, everything, the history of how we got here is on the site. There's education there. If you're interested in being part of the government, it's like you have to be vetted just like anybody else who would be part of any other government and do what is called a 928. I did that because I wanted to be part of, I wanted to know what was going on. The only way that you know what's going on, that you're a part of of those who are running things, then you know what's going on. So I did that too.
Somebody's asking about they're asking about the site. It actually is running. If you look right now, the site is running under the ticker, the banner is saying global528.com. It's right there. So where the site that she's talking about, global528.com, is there. And I'm going to have actually probably going to do another presentation with you, Dr. Topzyana, because time is, we're like 3 hours in, and I know folks are tired, but just so for people who are interested in knowing more about Global 528, and we'll do that separately, but I needed to have her a part of this group. So this was my celebration and a conversation with my SiStars, which I think has been very insightful. I've seen some of the comments, and we'll address that, like, oh, that Anna isn't a Moor, and Anna is that. And one of the things I like about the information that I've learned so far about it, it's a lot of times if we have to have more on attached to get what it is that we deserve, then we are Americans. So if it's for Americans, we are the copper colored Americans. We are the indigenous people. So it still speaks to the same thing that what we speak to. So, but you could ask those questions in another setting at another time, and go more in depth, and we'll do that. And so I'll try to make that happen like sooner than later. How about that, Dr. T? If we could do a special.
Okay.
And what we'll do is do it under what we call we'll do it under what I call unfiltered. That way it's not running through this system that obviously is trying to block. You hear all of this distortion and all this stuff. And that always happens when we have a program where we're saying stuff like this, right? So we can do something. In the meantime, go to global528.com if you want more information. Don't call me because I can't tell you any more than what's on this site. But between what Dr. Tia said and what Dr. Tia said, they're saying the same thing.
Right, except for it's under America. It's like I said, carriage accounting. Those state banks, they can be part of the bank or not. But the point is, at least you know that your money's going to be safe, and also that you're getting everything that you're supposed to get. They're not going to give you $330,000 and give you $5,000 a month for the rest of your life, because you have billions of dollars in prepaid credit, because we all use those funds, and so did our family members for the last 160 years. This is how everything is being paid back in America through our American bank. Now, so again, everything is on that site. You can read, you can all that, and also, especially for Dr. Kia, know that Anna is available for any and all media. Any, people have questions about stuff, all that. She wants to make sure that people are clear. So just like I want to make sure that people are clear, because like I said, I didn't know about this. The money was missing. And the quantum financial system is completely separate from the Global Financial Bank for America. We have our own satellites and everything. We are not part of that Admiralty system at all, in any sense of the word. So
I want to thank you. And I want to address, there's somebody, I think I just kind of highlighted it. Somebody said, well, last week with Taj Tariq Bey, everything was allegedly. I had a t-shirt on that said allegedly. Everything is alleged. Find out for yourself. Nobody's telling you that you have to or that it is, but if you want to know more, you can go to that website and investigate for yourself. I had a t-shirt on that said allegedly. Yes, I did. But everything
allegedly,
allegedly. Because I should have had that t-shirt. But I chose to have on March 17th today because it's my silver return. So I didn't have my allegedly, but everything is allegedly.
Do your homework, people. Do your own due diligence. I had to. I don't take anything at anybody's word. I find out what they're saying. Okay, what are the resources, and then I go and check it out, and then I go for what all that's making it stand or not stand. So yes, we have to be responsible for ourselves. So find out for yourself what's going on, and do what you think is best for you. But understand what's going on.
Somebody asked if Anna, I'm right. Does that sound like she's more? No, she's not. But if she's getting your resources back, doesn't matter.
She doesn't matter. The fiduciary for the country.
Right.
She's an American.
You wait for somebody that looks like you to come with it. You wait for a different boat when all the different ships and all the ways out to come, and you say, no, you're not who I was expecting.
you know what? They just need to know that this is based on their birth certificate, that their mothers did not know that they were signing over to the British Crown, and they need to undo that so they can get what's theirs. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter whether you call, because when we were born, we were not Moors, we were not any of that. We were babies, we didn't know anything. So if you're an American, and whether you're Native American, I'm Native American, I'm Lakota and Okonichiwa. So the point is, yes, the so-called Native Americans are most of us. And for those of us who want to claim the Moors and all that, right, just take your paperwork. You already did that part. So they accept that. They accept all the paperwork of everybody who's already corrected their status in another way. But you do have to, you just add your birth certificate to it, because that's proof that you've been trafficked, that you're owed this money. Because it doesn't matter what we are. We're Americans. And we're whatever tribe that we're from, all the tribes are dual citizens of America. All of them. So they're all open to do it too, and a lot of them are doing it.
And if I understand correctly, even if you have like foreign currencies, the bank.
Oh yeah, well remember, we're a real bank. We are connected to every monetary system on the planet. So every currency can be exchanged. And let me say this about the Zimbabwe dollar. It's a bond. It's not currency. And so every country had to negotiate its rates with the Zimbabwe government for their country. And it was no different for us. Anna did the negotiation for our bank for the Zimbabwe bond. And it's a bond because it was they're created on bond paper. And so and they don't run out. There's no such thing as an expiration date on that. So again, every country had to negotiate their own rates for the Zimbabwe because it is a bond. So for those, yes. So there is no currency that cannot be exchanged. And we have vendors, that unincorporate themselves and run their businesses. Everybody's using QR codes now because they're safer than the barcodes, and they're easier to work with the quantum system. And so the way our barcode works, just like anybody else's barcode, you want to buy something somewhere, you put the barcode there, it interfaces with the barcode of who you're buying, and it automatically makes the translation of whatever the money is. So you don't have to do that. It does that for you. So anyway, this is our American bank. It's for everybody who's on the land and soil all over the world. So you can't even, you can only take your ferns and have them converted 1-to-1 and you can do that without correcting your status, because they want to make sure, well, at least we want to make sure that nobody's starving in America and all that. But in order to open a bank account, you have to correct your status, or like I said, if you've already done that through the Moor Science Temple or one of the tribes and all that, that's fine. You upload that with your 1779 and your birth certificate, and which is proof of your being trafficked, and then you can receive your money. That is because remember, when the Pope said that everything had to be given back, if we stayed in the system that we were in that is now imploding, nobody would have gotten anything. So we had to, a bank had to be set up that can accept our wealth. And you have to prove that you were born in America. You cannot be a part of that bank and get the wealth of America unless you are. So as long as you were born in America, whether you're indigenous American, whether you're whatever you want to call it, the religion, none of that matters. The point is you were born here, your mother born you here, you're an American, you're entitled to whatever the wealth is of the land, and so you will receive it. Is that?
So there's some questions. Let me put it. So somebody's asking, and what's backing this money with Anna? And wait, I got you muted. Don't say anything yet. Also, there's questions asking whether, how can Anna give back anything if she's not a Moor? Anna doesn't have sovereign power in America. Can you address that?
All that can be addressed on the site.
Right.
Why we're even America is because we were a conquered people. And the Constitution that the original Americans went by were from the tribes. It's just that when we hired the British, the British government to do governmental services for us, because we didn't have our own navy. We couldn't protect anything on the seas and all that, and the inland waterways. So they have jurisdiction there. They don't have jurisdiction on the land.
But as
long as you have a
they want to know what's back it now. Isn't it not the part of the St. Germain Trust that she's a fiduciary of?
Well, Anna is the last living beneficiary of the St. Germain Trust. That was her family line.
Okay.
And
Taj does know about Anna. He has never met her personally, but he's the one who he's the one he always refers to as having brought the Pope letter to Obama, making it public. And he always thinks about it. However, we are arranging a meeting between the two of them. You talked about that.
That's wonderful. That's so wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that, because Taj really understands what happened. I love that brother. I really do. Like I said, we changed our nationality in 1996 from listening to Taj. And so, yes.
But we're not going to go any further.
Okay, that's fine. They can go to the site.
But I will do, I promise, I will do a special, like, what I call it, the unfiltered, so that we can, not be on, social media, but get your questions answered, maybe the reception will be better.
There are no contradictions here. So no matter what you are, you still have wealth coming to you. And so,
yeah,
what can I say?
Yeah, Dr. G, I just want to add, Dr. G, if I might.
Sure.
Okay, if I might, Dr. G, I just want everybody to still
real brief, because I'm ready to close. I really am.
Yes, yes, it's very, very brief, and it's very simple to always know about the glitching and the switch. Because even if you just look at this being an 8 year, which is, okay, real estate, finance, security, all right, that's what we're dealing with. But the land, backwards, look at the word land, because that's a switch. The backwards is DNA. Don't just look at the L, because L is the sound of L. the El, the Elohim, plurality. So switch everything around. Whatever you think is one way, it's the other way because they're the opposition. That's it, period.
Okay. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you. Let me make sure. Yeah. I want to thank each one of you for coming and sharing with me on this special occasion, the occasion of my 71st solar return. I'm so grateful. I love each and every one of you, and I'm just grateful that you took time out of your busy schedules to be here. But before, and like I said, if there's anything I can do, if I can come on your shows or, send you a care package because your arm is hurt, she's not, or whatever, I'm there. I'm there for you and I appreciate it. But I want to let you all know that on the 27th of this month, the it's the return of our fourth Friday civics class in person. So on Friday, March 27th, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. Grand Chic Tashtarik Bay. They got him, Teach, Brother Teach, and Lady J, and myself will be at House of Real Awakening Minds, 602 Vanderbilt Avenue. We want you to come out and like I said, we're back starting on the 27th. So please put that on your schedule if you're anywhere in the area and you could be a part of it. But again, I would like to thank all of my SiStars, the real SiStars, not the ones in the picture, for coming out. And like I said, I love you all and I appreciate you. And I think I have an outro for my song, y'all. I see that it's uploaded. The song that I wrote called Always Glitching, or whatever it's called. I have an outro, a version of it, the same words, but it's a slower song. So I think that's how I'm going to close out. And hopefully you'll like that song. If you weren't here at the beginning, that's the fast version. And I'm going to play the slow version going out. So I don't know if anybody has anything else they want to say real quick. Probably you don't. But if you do,
I
let me see
do.
a finger. You do? Okay, all right. Go ahead. Let me unmute you, Dr. Key. All righty. There you go. You're unmuted anyway.
I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. G. You are wonderful. You are a trailblazer. Thank you for this beautiful panel. I've learned so much. Like I just feel like crying. I took so many notes, and I would love for you, Dr. G, to please come to my show, please, and share some of your wisdom. And I would like to invite the mother and the doctor and the other sister, like maybe Dr. G, you and I could put something together. Like this is just really spoken to my soul. About the 528 bank, it really resonates with me. I'm a big fan of Dr. Anna von Reitz. I've been criticized for it, but you read energy, so I love the work that she's doing. And just because somebody isn't brown, first of all, doesn't mean that they're not indigenous, and it doesn't mean that they're not an ally. So I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I've invited my tribe here to join for my show. And Dr. G, when you come on, I'm just I can't wait for you to share all your wisdom with the soul tribe. You brought a lot of people anyway to me. You know that, right? I can't hear you.
I said, we love you. I love you. Grand Chic and I always take an opportunity to mention you with, because we listen to you. We listen to your shows, you and the chief that, comes on, and he's a sheik too. Chief, is he both? Yeah. I listen whenever I get a chance, and I'm always, kind of, I'm like, I know her. Yes. We just regular people to ourselves, but we put each other up on the pedestals.
We do.
Yeah, but we know we're just we idolize each other. We respect. I think it's more respect than idolization. But we really appreciate everything you do and all the information you bring, and the fact that it's cross cultural. The more I and I may get some flack for this, but hey, I'm 71, so the heck cares? But the more I live and learn, the less, like we said, it matters to me of this that it does the energy, because I am a perceptor and a perceiver rather, and a receiver of energy. And Mother Kai talked a lot about the E at the end, and it's all about energy.
Thank you,
And
Mother. Thank you.
some brown energy is not good at all, and I've some vanilla energy sometimes is real good. So it just depends. You've got to be sensitive to that. That's the thing that they try to do to keep us divided. We have to know that is the important thing. And like I said, it may get some flack for it, but it's okay, because I can't tell you how to feel and believe, and you can't do it, and nor can you do that for me. Just because I have this platform, you can't dictate what I believe. I respect it, the fact that there are different opinions, but you cannot dictate. I will not alter my opinions to just please audiences, because you can't please everybody anyway. So you just have to be true to yourself. And I believe that this group of SiStars, and I love the stars part, are shining in each one of you in your own right. And it was just awesome to have you here. And like I said at the beginning, there are a lot out here, the other sisters that it could have had on here, and I love you and respect you too. But we, 5 was a nice, well, apparently it was not nice, but a good number to have, and it worked out numerologically, right, Mother? So it was good.
Wait, and you're 71 and your birthday's 17, so you're really in the power, because 71 and 17 reversed. And I kept saying, switch it.
8.
8.
And look, this shirt came in the mail today. I was like, oh, I need to put this on. And because tomorrow will be the 18th. I can't wear this shirt till next year, I guess. So, but yeah, y'all. Listen, it's my solar return. So you don't have to give me grace, but yeah, I'd appreciate it. I appreciate it. So listen, go to global528.com and just check it out. Nobody's telling you what you have to do. And I like the fact that if you've already corrected your status, in other means, it's just a matter of, letting them know that, and, sending a copy of your paperwork that you've already done. So, I mean, what are you going to lose? What do you have to lose? And I know, Dr. T, you've already gotten, they've started last July, your deposits, right? So, hey, great catch. Something is manifesting is for, like the sister said, foundation. Oh, thank you.
Well, I'm going to say this right, Dr. G. That 5 again, right?
Yes.
I give you $600. I give you $600 a year, because you introduced me to the AO scan with Solex. And that is magic as well, because that is the right frequency that talks about everything is energy. And
Absolutely.
that is what the woman has to get back to. So I want to say that we have this reciprocity going on between us, and I appreciate that. And that's
Thank you. And Mother, you use it in greater ways than I have, because you've learned how to add different kinds
I
of
use it
frequencies.
like magic. I use it like magic. I use it to bust up everything. Relationship. I'm the relationship counselor. You got to put the magic in it. You see, that's the whole thing that Mother does. Nothing is one thing, because we create everything. So when people say to any of us sisters, oh, you think you know everything, simply say, I do. I just can't remember it all right now.
I love that. I love that. Well, listen, we're gonna go. I'm going to see if I can play this song going out. It looks like I've got it on a video. Let me see if it comes up. Instead of me using the other one, I'm going to try this. Let's see what it is. I'm going to mute everybody. Thank you, everyone.
best I can be. Always striving to reach the top in spite of their restrictions. I'm someone they can't stop. I'm growing, learning, inspiring, teaching, creating, and healing. It's action more than a feeling. That's why I'm always glitching. Oh yes, I've got what it takes to be the best of the best. Not competing with anybody but me. Just here to make a difference and set your captive mind free. The matrix is not just a wound. They've gone and made it a tomb. Their system buries your dreams beneath lies and manipulated schemes. Reality is not what it seems. That's why I'm always glitching. That's me, doing what I can to be the best I can be. Always striving to be the cream of the crop. I'm thriving in their matrix, 'cause I'm the one they can't stop. It's my time, 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 it's
That was awesome. Good night. I put my number in the chat.
Folks can get in touch with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And let's talk so you can come on the show if you're available.
All right. We're going to end the stream right now. We haven't completely ended. It's okay. That's all right. They get to see. Let me end. Don't go anywhere. It's gonna play. I don't want to play the outro. It's gonna play my outro. Let me take this off for a minute. End the stream.